Okay, we are live. Hello, good afternoon, and welcome back to the Law Entrance YouTube channel. We are back with another marathon series, this time for the SLAT exam, which is scheduled to happen on 13th and 15th of December. Today's marathon is on legal reasoning, the first marathon, 3 hours of marathon session of 3 p.m. to 6 p.m., taken by me, yours truly, Govind Singh. So, how many of you are here with me on the stream today? Can I have some very quick responses? I can see Shaurya, I can see Ashi. If you guys are here on the stream, please let me know in the chat box and we'll begin very soon. Mishika is here. Good afternoon. Very good afternoon to all of you. Congratulations to people who performed well in CLAT as well as ALET. अभी ALET के results तो नहीं आए हैं, but still, for people who did well in CLAT, no matter however the exam was, you deserve the kudos, you deserve the congratulations. People who unfortunately could not get a good rank in CLAT, there's nothing to be demotivated as of now. Focus on the upcoming options which you have, SLAT being a very prominent one of them. SLAT gives you access to admission in Symbiosis wale 4 colleges, which are good colleges. Symbiosis Pune, for that matter of fact, is a very good college, and I would place it at par with better than most of the NLUs, barring the top 5. That is where I would keep SLS Pune. But that being said, it is a very good option for a law aspirant, for someone who's planning to pursue law from every aspect, be it litigation, be it judiciary, and especially corporate. SLS Pune has a fantastic alumni base and all of those things. मुझे पता नहीं मैं इतनी तारीफ क्यों कर रहा हूँ SLS की, उन्होंने मुझे पैसे तो नहीं दिए हैं, but ठीक है. My point is to give you guys some motivation with respect to the story is not over, right? You still have a chance at becoming a kick-ass lawyer and making a good career in law. So let's focus on the next exam, which is SLAT, bound to happen on 13th and 15th of December. And on that note, welcome back to the marathon sessions by me. I can see Vivan, Jeevan Jot, Viraj, Drashti, Dakshita, Sia, Khushi, Divyansh on the stream. Very good afternoon, all of you. कैसे हो आप लोग? क्या हालचाल है? सब बढ़िया चल रहा है? जिन लोगों का क्लैट एक्सपेक्टेशंस के अकॉर्डिंग नहीं रहा, आई नो थोड़ा सा डिमोटिवेशन होगा, आई नो एंजाइटी होगी इस टाइम, आई नो देयर इज अ सेंस ऑफ फियर एंड इनसिक्योरिटी की करियर का क्या होगा, बट ट्रस्ट मी ऑन दिस, 5 year down the line you would laugh at yourself of for being so scared at this point of time. And I hope that things turn out really really well for all of you जिन्होंने क्लैट निकाला इस बार या नहीं निकाला या उतना अच्छा नहीं गया. Nevertheless, we'll focus on making the best out of what we have. Lavanya is saying, where can we get last year's SLAT papers? Nowhere, to be honest, because SLAT happens in the online mode and they don't give you the question paper on the website or in physical copy. So there's no way to access the past year papers. You can only access some of the sources which have given memory-based paper. That is all you have, some memory-based questions. But all in all, let's look at what exactly is SLAT all about. So when you talk about the SLAT 2024 paper review, this is again based on experiences of people who went and took the exam. This is memory based, but this is quite accurate. When you talk about the logical reasoning section for the 2024 exam, it was moderate in nature. You had questions from assumptions, argument based, blood relations, alphabet coding. So you see that even in the logical reasoning section, there is a good mix of CR as well as AR. And some of the questions were a little bit tricky. When you talk about legal, which we'll do in depth in today's session, that was fairly easy. It has consistently been easy throughout the SLAT exams, and I'm also predicting that legal would be easy this time as well, because that has been the pattern. Principal and fact-based questions, simple topics where negligence, contract, theft, these type of topics are usually asked in the SLAT exam. Simple fact-based questions होते हैं which can be easily answered. Basically the पुराना वाला CLAT pattern 2017 से लेके 2020, 21 तक जो CLAT pattern के legal reasoning questions थे, on those lines, and उनसे भी थोड़े से एक level easier ही आते हैं in the SLAT exam. When you talk about AR is a very broad topic with context of the SLAT exam. So obviously you cannot be prepared for everything they can throw at you. What you can be prepared is the basic topics of quant and the basic topics of AR. जैसे blood relation हो गया, direction हो गया, alphabet coding हो गया, numeric coding हो गया, patterns and puzzles हो गया, syllogisms हो गया. इस type के topics आपको definitely करके जाने. and the basic quant ones जैसे SICI profit and loss, DI probability percentage, basic ones, basic 10th level की maths आती है. And I don't think you need to be very worried about the quant and AR section of SLAT exam क्योंकि हर साल बहुत simple आता है. थोड़ा सा लेंदी कभी कभी हो सकता है जैसे पिछली साल था, but it's mostly doable. It's nothing to be scared of. ठीक है. Then we come to the reading section or the English section, which had 4 passages, easy passages, direct questions. This was सबसे ज़्यादा हलवा session out of all the 5. And lastly, we have GK, which is a good mix of current affairs as well as static GK. Now, all of these questions comprise of 12 marks. I mean, 12 questions of each of these sections comprising 12 marks. And the total paper is of 60 questions. Now, out of these 60 questions, 60 marks, there is no negative marking. So that is one thing about the SLAT exam. When we talk about the legal section, 12 questions would be asked. And as I said, simple principle and fact based questions. The main highlight of the SLAT exam is no negative marking. So it's a no brainer that you would be attempting all 60 out of 60 questions without fail. No matter what circumstance, what situation, what difficulty level you encounter in the paper, you have to mark all the 60 questions on your question paper, on your screen, essentially. We'll talk about how to approach the section, but before that, let's talk about how to approach the SLAT paper in general. How many of you are writing both the slots? And how many of you are writing a single slot? Please give me in the chat box. Please give me a response in the chat box. Single slot or both the slots? Single slot essentially means either you're writing on 13th or on 15th. Both means you're writing on 13th as well as 15th. जल्दी से मुझे chat box में बताओ so that I have some perspective. Okay, most of you are writing both the slots. Even I am writing both the slots. So I'll have context to explain the paper with you guys. As soon as it's done, we'll come out with the analysis, cutoff predictions and difficulty level. वो सारी चीजें channel पे आपको मिल जाएंगी within an hour of the paper getting over. So tune to the channel, subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Like this particular stream if you haven't yet, and turn on your notifications क्योंकि वो दोनों सेशंस आपको दोनों स्लॉट्स के मिल जाएंगे. स्लॉट 1 के बाद हम एक डिटेल्ड एनालिसिस भी करेंगे कि हाउ कैन वी स्पेक्यूलेट कि स्लॉट 2 कैसा रहेगा बेस्ड ऑन स्लॉट 1, बिकॉज मोर और लेस सिमिलर लाइंस पे रखेंगे वो लोग सो दैट किसी को अनफेयर एडवांटेज ना मिले. फॉर पीपल हु आर राइटिंग अ सिंगल स्लॉट, don't worry, you would not be at a disadvantageous position, but of course there would be a slight luck factor involved for people who are writing both the slots. They might get lucky in one of the slots. It could be temperament, it could be performance on D-Day, it could be questions more suited to your skill set or your pre-existing knowledge. So those things are definitely there, but the authorities have mentioned that they would try their best to keep both the papers on a similar level, so don't need to worry about that. Calculators are not allowed as per my understanding. Instructions में तो ऐसा कुछ mentioned नहीं है that calculators are allowed. Simbi is a very good college, yeah. Simbi, at least I can talk for Pune because I have friends there and I have been tracking the performance. Simbi Pune is a fantastic college. Even for that matter, Hyderabad and Noida are really good. I would still place all these 3 colleges above the tier 3 NLUs any given day. That is something which I can say for sure because I have been seeing the performance. The students of these 3 colleges have been performing well, be it the moot court competitions, be it the internships, be it the placements. It's going pretty well for them. It's a reputed college. Is the mock there was inbuilt calculators? Inbuilt calculators is a different thing, but you're definitely not allowed to carry physical calculators is what I am understanding based on the instructions. I'm thinking I'll prepare for CLAT with Simbi. That could be a good option. Many people do that. Many people prepare for CLAT again, even with tier 3 NLUs, tier 2 NLUs. I myself did that while being at RGNU. So yeah, that could be a course of action for sure. ठीक है, चलो स्टार्ट करते हैं. We'll talk about how to approach the paper first, and then we'll talk a little bit about how to approach the legal section in general. So now that you know that there is no negative marking, it becomes a wise thing to do. I think you can scroll through all the questions from 1 to 60. There's no section-wise boundation that you'd have to solve one section and then you would be able to move to the second section. I think there's no such restriction, right? Will we be given a paper during SLAT? Most likely they would give you a rough sheet for calculations. When I attempted SLAT back in 2018, I definitely got a rough sheet, but most likely they should provide you. Last year मैंने नहीं दिया था SLAT, so I cannot tell you about last year, but most likely you should be able to get a rough sheet from the invigilator. Okay, Shara is saying you can toggle within sections. Rough sheet will be given. Yes, they mentioned they will give. Gave it last year. They do. हाँ, तो वही मैं कह रहा था ना. They do give you rough sheets, so that's not an issue at all. आप calculations उस पे सारी कर सकते हो. And for me that would be beneficial because चलो ठीक है. I'll not mention what I would use them for. But ठीक है, you guys know it, right? चलो हम बात करें हाउ टू अप्रोच द पेपर इन जनरल. सो 5 sections, 12 12 12 12 12 each of the sections, GK, AR, LR, then you have your English and you have your legal, right? Now, in my opinion, it makes most sense to start with GK because it's going to be very direct and very easy if we follow the previous trends. अगर जैसा पेपर हर बार स्लैट में आता है, अगर वैसा ही आता है तो if they don't do anything drastically different, then these 12 questions would hardly take you, I would say, 5 minutes. मैक्स चलो 6 minutes, 30 seconds पर क्वेश्चन. अगर लेंदी क्वेश्चन है तो चलो 7 minutes मान लेते हैं फॉर सेफर साइड. ठीक है, 7 minutes. अब इसमें the good part about online papers is there is no requirement to fill in your OMR wale bubbles with your roll number and question booklet number. So there you save a couple of minutes, which you have to invest if your invigilator does not allow you to fill that during the exam, before the exam. ठीक है, so वहां पे 2 minute बच जाएंगे. Now coming back, 12 questions of GK should ideally take you, we'll go with the assumption 6 minutes. Okay, so out of 60 minutes you now have 54 minutes left, correct? Now, if I were to think like an aspirant and if I were to secure admission, I would think about how can I score 50 plus out of 60 in the most efficient manner. So my strong suit was English and legal, verbal sections, and I used to attempt them first. If your strong suit is calculative sections like AR, or if there are quant questions in AR, then start with that. Okay, I particularly start with English or legal first, basis on whichever of them is appearing to be easier or is less lengthy or is less complicated. So if I were to attempt, I would go for the English section. In the 12 questions, I would possibly take somewhere around 8 minutes, which would then leave me with how many? 54 minus 8 would be 46 minutes, right? 46 minutes, I'm done with the 2 sections. Then I would possibly approach the legal section. Again, I would take 8 minutes in these 12 questions, which would leave me down to 38 minutes, right? थोड़ा सा clear कर लेते हैं. So now we have 38 minutes left and we are done with GK, English and legal. Now, I just need to solve 24 questions of AR plus CR, and I have 38 minutes, which would give me a lot of confidence that I have at least, let's say, almost 1.5 minutes per question, right? Which is a good amount of time to solve calculative questions of AR as well as deductive reasoning based questions of CR. So because I personally teach CR and I have a bias towards CR, I would most likely do CR questions first. If I'm assuming that all 12 questions in the AR section would be logical reasoning section would be CR based, so 12 questions again would take me anywhere between 9 to 10 minutes. I am taking couple of minutes extra because CR में थोड़ा ज़्यादा सोचना पड़ जाता है कभी-कभी. So let's take it on the higher side, 10 minutes extra. That leaves me with how many? 28 minutes. And now I'm done with the 4 sections. अब मेरे पास बचा है सिर्फ calculative वाला section, 12 questions, and I can give easily 2 minutes per question. चलो यहाँ पे अगर 4 मिनट और भी कम कर लो, आपके 1-2 मिनट इधर उधर लग गए, तो you still would be having 24 minutes and the 12 questions left for the AR section. That is my approach based on my strengths and weaknesses. You have to do this exercise for yourself. If quant or if calculativeness or if doing the calculative questions first is your strength and you think you can do those 12 questions in 8-9 minutes, then sure, flip it. Do the calculative ones before and the English and legal ones later. But that is a call you have to make for yourself. I personally am going to implement this strategy. If the paper comes like the previous year paper, if there is a major change in the paper, I might improvise my strategy on the spot, and you guys should also be ready for that. ऐसा हो सकता है कि कुछ surprise आ जाए, ऐसा हो सकता है legal बहुत lengthy आ जाए. So that मैं legal हो सकता है फर्स्ट सेकंड नंबर पे ना करूं, हो सकता है मैं उसको थोड़ा सा बीच में रखूं. इट कुड बी दैट AR is very very simple, very direct, let's say number series questions or very short questions. Then I might do AR first because I like to get done with the calculative part and then just do the reading part altogether. My point here is you need to play on your strengths and weaknesses. You need to improvise. You need to have a strategy in place, because although it seems easy कि 60 questions हैं, 60 minutes हैं, negative marking नहीं है, आसानी से हो जाएगा. But the tough part about SLAT is that there is no negative marking. That is a boon as well as a bane, that is a pro as well as a con, because जिन लोगों के तुक्के भी सही होंगे वो भी रेस में है, फिर जिन लोगों को वो क्वेश्चन नहीं भी आता और उन्होंने मार्क कर दिया वो भी रेस में है, बिकॉज देयर इज नो नेगेटिव मार्किंग, सो पीपल वोंट बी शाइंग अवे फ्रॉम अटेम्प्टिंग ऑल 60 क्वेश्चंस, व्हिच पुट्स अ गुड एस्पिरेंट एट अ डिसएडवांटेज बिकॉज obvious reasons, right? So first is you have to attempt 60 out of 60 questions. Second is you have to have a strategy in place. And thirdly, you need to do the easy questions first, for sure. You need to do at least 50 to 55 questions correct, if not more, क्योंकि कट ऑफ बहुत ज्यादा जाता है यार स्लैट का. आई डोंट थिंक कट ऑफ किसी भी केस में 50 से कम आने वाला है. ये भी मैं एक जेनरस नंबर लेके बता रहा हूँ, ठीक है? तो आपको 50 क्वेश्चंस तो सही बनाने ही बनाने पड़ेंगे, ठीक है? I'm talking about SLS Pune. I'm not talking about the other colleges. I'm talking about SLS Pune. If you want to have a good chance at getting to the interview stage, क्योंकि यहाँ पे I think interview भी होता है SLAT में. Correct. So that was about how to approach the exam in general. I hope I made sense. Suryansh is saying, what was your CLAT score? When I gave CLAT as an aspirant in 2019, my score was 161.75 out of 200. My rank was 111. इस साल तो आई जस्ट गिव इट टू एनालाइज द पेपर. आई डिड नॉट अटेम्प्ट द क्या कहते हैं वो वाला सेक्शन, आपका डीआई वाला सेक्शन. आई डिड नॉट अटेम्प्ट बिकॉज दैट इज नॉट माय कॉम्पिटेंसी. बट जस्ट फॉर रेफरेंस माय स्कोर वाज 85, ठीक है? विदाउट द डीआई सेक्शन, विदाउट अटेम्प्टिंग डीआई, माय स्कोर वाज 85, ठीक है? चलो, आई डोंट हैव एनी shying away about the fact that I scored those marks and I did not score 95. ठीक है, मैं बस मजे के लिए दिया था पेपर, just to give you guys a perspective. चलो, ठीक है, आगे चलते हैं हम. लेट्स टॉक अबाउट हाउ टू अप्रोच द लीगल सेक्शन. लीगल सेक्शन की अगर हम बात करें तो लीगल सेक्शंस में 12 क्वेश्चंस रहेंगे. आउट ऑफ देम यू वुड बी अटेम्प्टिंग ऑल द 12 प्रिंसिपल 5 बेस्ड क्वेश्चंस रहेंगे. एंड देयर इज अ पॉसिबिलिटी कि आपसे वो लीगल जीके पूछ सकते हैं. It could happen. It has happened in few of the years. So legal GK में firstly आपको क्या पता होना चाहिए? आपको कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन के बारे में चीजें पता होनी चाहिए. आपको एवोल्यूशन ऑफ कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन पता होना चाहिए. कैसे कॉन्स्टिट्यूएंट असेंबली केम इनटू बीइंग, कैसे कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन केम इनटू बीइंग. यू शुड नो अ लिटिल बिट अबाउट इंपॉर्टेंट अमेंडमेंट्स. यू शुड नो अ लिटिल बिट अबाउट इंपॉर्टेंट कंटेम्पररी अपडेट्स जैसे BNS, BNSS, सिटीजनशिप एक्ट, दोज थिंग्स which we have already discussed in class. So मैं legal GK cater नहीं करूंगा इस particular marathon में. We'll just do the principal and fact based questions because primarily उसके आने के chances ज्यादा, questions आने के chances ज्यादा है, ठीक है? So we'll work around that. But legal GK should again be on point. Don't think that यहाँ पे सिर्फ principal fact based question आते हैं, so I'll skip all those legal GK which I have studied for CLAT and ELIT. No, it's always good to be prepared for the worst case scenario, and I would still request you to please brush through your legal GK as well, contemporary legal GK as well as static legal GK, both of them, ठीक है? Now coming back to the principal and fact based questions which you will be practicing in today's marathon, 3-hour marathon, 3 to 6 p.m. अब क्योंकि I have discussed all of the important principles required in the 6-hour marathon which we took for the CLAT exam, so I would not be investing more time in discussing the concepts. If you have any conceptual let's say clarity required on any particular topic, I can possibly give you that clarity. But as a general flow of the class, we won't be going to study a lot of concepts. We'll talk about concepts while we solve questions. I'll give you inputs on concepts while we solve questions on those particular concepts. So what I've done for this particular marathon is I have picked up questions which are mixed from the CLAT exam, the ELIT exam of the previous years, जहाँ पे legal and principal and fact based questions आया करते थे, and we'll use them for practicing questions for SLAT. Because if you are able to solve these questions with ease, then SLAT questions should be a cakewalk if the trend of easier questions continue. So if you guys are ready to begin today's marathon session, can I have a very quick ready in the chat box? Ready in the chat box very quickly if you guys are ready to begin the session. Mishika is saying, can we go over how to decode legal maxims since learning all of them right now seems impossible? Chalo, we can think about that. There are a lot of lists available online with regards to legal maxims. So I'll give you a little bit of perspective. How much should I get to go to NLUD? If you're a general category student, I'm guessing somewhere around 105 to 107, if not more. That is my prediction. It might be a little off by a couple of marks, but that is my take. Ready? Everyone is ready? All 97 people? Can I have a quick like on the stream as well if you all are excited and ready about this session? काफी मजा आने वाला आज. Viraj is saying, any idea if we are stuck up in any question? then it's a good idea to possibly look at the other questions which are left in the exam and then come back to the question. ठीक है, मार्क उसको तब भी कर दो क्योंकि if in case you are not able to come back, you would at least attempt that question. So in the SLAT exam, important instruction is if you are stuck at a particular question, when you move on to the next question thinking that I would come back to this, उसको मार्क करके जाओ, जो भी आपको क्लोजेस्ट लग रहा है, लेट्स से बी और सी में डाउट है और बी ज्यादा प्रोबेबल लग रहा है, तो बी को मार्क करके जाओ नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन पे, एंड देन व्हेन यू कम बैक देन डेलिब्रेट ऑन इट. ठीक है, चलो. Vivan is saying they had 2 online mocks, but yeah, that's it. Okay, chalo, let's begin today's session without any further ado. Now, before I begin, there's an important announcement. As I already mentioned, we will be coming out with the detailed analysis of the SLAT paper on the 13th of December. 9 to 10 में exam होने वाला है, and we would possibly be live around 11:30. You would see the notification coming up to you if you have subscribed and also press the bell icon. So make sure you do that if you haven't yet. Jaldi se 19,000 करवा दो. We are very close to touching the number of 19,000 subscribers, and 20,000 हो जाएंगे तो मजा ही आ जाएगा. And like कर दो इस वीडियो को if you haven't yet. That would mean a lot to me. That would help with our engagement. And let's begin the session. Of course, our detailed analysis would give you expected cutoff. We would also be talking some questions which I can possibly remember or possibly note down. We'll see. But yeah, that is on the cards for 13th December as well as 15th December. With that, let's begin practicing some questions of legal reasoning. The first question which is coming up for you guys is this. Let's solve this question. Any grace marks we will be getting in SLAT. Grace marks for what, yeah? What is usually the cutoff for SLS Pune? 50 प्लस ही रहता है आउट ऑफ 60. तो मतलब लास्ट ईयर को देख के चलो, अगर आप इफ यू लुक एट लास्ट ईयर ट्रेंड, इट्स यूजुअली 50 प्लस. Vivan is saying, I read an article about how BBLLB is useless because it does not have correlation with subjects in LLB, but I'm from commerce and I'm not at all into history and stuff. See, there's no impact of BLLB, BBLLB, BSc LLB, and all of those things. If you are good in your law subjects, if you maintain decent grades, वैसे भी आप सिर्फ सेकेंड ईयर तक ही प्राइमरली पढ़ते हो आपके BA and BBA वाले subjects. So it does not make any difference at all if you take BA or if you take BBA. ठीक है? Don't worry about that. Okay, we have the answer to the question. Most people are saying option number 2. Let's check out. Nothing is an offense if committed by a child below 7 years of age. Adil, aged 6 years, is a student of class 1. He placed his sharpened pencil on the bench with its pointed at up when his classmate Ajay stood up to answer a question. Oh my god, this gives me nostalgia. I've done something similar in school. Ajay gets hurt when he sits on the pencil, and Adil and his friends have a good laugh. Adil is so me. Ajay's father, on seeing his son injured when he returns home, wants action against Adil. That does not sound right, but okay. Which of the following statements is the most appropriate in relation to the legal principle? Simple है यार. 6 years का है वो, 7 से कम में कोई offense नहीं होगा. It's a blanket legal principle. So he has not committed any offense. Option number 2. Committed an offense would be wrong. Childish prank, this is irrelevant. Class teacher must be arrested is also irrelevant. Chalo, let's move to question number 10. The next question. Viraj is saying, if we mark a question, get a question wrong, question or its option itself are wrong. So will we get any grace marks in return? It's always a good strategy to mark such questions. If you feel that the question is wrong, kar dena mark. Irrespective of the provision of grace marks, it's always good to mark the question. Shreya, you cannot access past year SLAT papers. They are not available online. They conduct the exam online and they do not release the question papers, unfortunately. Answers to the next question, please. Very quickly. Let's put a hold on these predictions, rank predictions, and which NLU wale questions for a while. Let's focus on the purpose of this marathon at hand. When we take a break, I'll answer those questions if time permits. But abhi ke liye, let's focus on the marathon, please. Okay, some are saying 3, some are saying option 1. What about others? I can see 90 plus people on the stream, but I'm not seeing that many responses in the chat box. Are you guys following along or not? Okay, some are saying 3, some are saying 1. Let's check it out. Doctrine of basic structure in constitutional jurisprudence means that the Constitution of India has certain basic features that cannot be taken away through amendments by the Parliament. Okay, power of judicial review is a part of basic structure, helps the constitutional courts to determine whether an amendment is against the basic structure or not. Fair. Parliament proposes an amendment to limit the power of appeal against conviction for the offence of sedition to be exercised only by Supreme Court of India. Okay. Which of the following statement is most appropriate in relation to the legal principle? All right. Proposed amendment is against the basic structure. Proposed amendment can be reviewed and struck down by constitutional courts. In unconnected to doctrine of basic structure, beyond the power of parliament. This would be simple. Option number three. It can be reviewed and struck down by the constitutional courts because your principle clearly mentions that the power of judicial review is a part of the basic structure and it helps the constitutional courts to determine whether something is basic within the basic structure or not. Easy peasy. Question option number three. ठीक है? Even if it is against the basic structure doctrine, option number three makes more sense because it gives you the reasoning as to why it can be struck down by the court and it can be reviewed because it aligns with the legal principle mentioned. Okay, let's move to the next one. Question number 12. Let's solve this very quickly. Samarthi Singh, has CL submitted objections to the ALET answer key? Yes, we have. We have also released it on our Telegram group and different channels. So do check those out. I think we have filed 4 or 5 objections. So yeah. Answers to the questions, guys. Okay, some are saying 2, some are saying 1. Let's check this. It is an offense to obstruct a public servant in the due discharge of his duty. Right to private defense is available to protect one's person and property. Okay. Sidhu comes to the rescue of his uncle who is sought to be taken into a car by some men. In the process, he causes injury to some of them. Later, it turns out that the men were police persons in plain clothes trying to enforce a warrant against his uncle. Which of the following statements is most appropriate in relation to the legal principle? Sidhu has committed offense of obstructing a public servant in due discharge of his duty. Okay. Sidhu has not committed an offense since he did not know the men were from the police. Okay, Sidhu's uncle has resisted arrest and should be proceeded against. This is definitely wrong. Sidhu should not have tried to help his uncle without ascertaining the fact. This was definitely wrong. So it comes down between 1 and 2. Has he committed the offense of obstructing a public servant in due discharge of duty? Hmm. The answer would be option number 1, guys. Why would you choose option number 2? Read the principle carefully. It is an offense to obstruct a public servant in due discharge of duty, and that is what he did. Intentions don't matter here. Is it mentioned here that it is an offense to obstruct a public servant unintentionally or intentionally? Is something of that lines mentioned? No, it's not. Secondly, right to private defense is available to protect one's person and property. Yani you can protect yourself under right to private defense, and here you are protecting uncle. है ना? Uncle is not your person. Uncle is not your property. One's person, right? Not someone else. That is not private defense. So simply, he has committed the offense of obstructing a public servant in due discharge of his duty. Why would you choose option number 2? इंटेंशन डज नॉट मैटर है. यहाँ पे कहाँ लिखा है कि उसको पता नहीं था, उससे गलती हो गई. एंड इवन इफ यू लुक एट द लीगल प्रिंसिपल, अगर आप प्रायर प्रायर नॉलेज भी लगा रहे हो तो नॉट नोइंग द लॉ और बीइंग ऑन द रॉन्ग साइड ऑफ लॉ इज नॉट एन एक्सक्यूज. एज सिंपल एज दैट. मिस्टेक ऑफ फैक्ट है, ठीक है, मिस्टेक ऑफ फैक्ट इज डेफिनेटली देयर, बट इवन इफ यू अज्यूम देयर इज मिस्टेक ऑफ फैक्ट, यू कैन ओनली प्रोटेक्ट वंस ओन पर्सन, यानी कि यू कैन प्रोटेक्ट योरसेल्फ एंड योर प्रॉपर्टी. यू कैन नॉट प्रोटेक्ट अंकल, राइट? दैट इज द लीगल प्रिंसिपल. तो अगर मैं मिस्टेक ऑफ फैक्ट वाले अजम्पशन पे चला भी जाऊं, इट्स स्टिल गोइंग टू बी ऑप्शन नंबर 1. राइट वंशिका? फेयर? अंडरस्टूड? फेयर इनफ? क्लियर है ये क्वेश्चन सबको? इज दिस क्लियर टू एवरीवन? कैन हैव अ वेरी क्विक क्लियर इन द चैट बॉक्स इफ दिस मेक्स सेंस? देखो, इस टाइप के ट्रिकी क्वेश्चंस में यू हैव टू बी केयरफुल, यू हैव टू evaluate the legal principle very carefully. Don't be very quick to jump on the option which seems okay as per your understanding of how things should actually be. You should just stick to the principle, right? Ashvika is saying, so it was, if it was to protect one's personal property, uh, of would mistake of fact be valid? वही तो है ये. Mistake of fact valid नहीं होगा यहाँ पे, क्योंकि it's an assumption. I would still say that mistake of fact would not be valid. That would be prior information being used. But I'm saying even if you hypothetically assume कि mistake of fact लगा भी रहे हो, तब भी सही नहीं होगा. Option number 2. चलो, let's go to question number 13. We'll be a little more vigilant now, reading the principle and the facts. वेल इज सेइंग अच्छा रैंक नहीं मिला है क्लैट में, बट काउंसलिंग का ऑप्शन आ रहा है, मैं क्या करूँ? That's your personal call, yeah. If you think that there's a possibility of getting a national law university, then participate in the process. If you think that there is no possibility, then don't participate. That is a call you have to take based on your rank. Vanshika is saying, had the uncle been protecting himself in that question and Sidhu wasn't in question, then will mistake of fact be valid? आप mistake of fact को बीच में क्यों ला रहे हो? अगर वहां पे सिर्फ अंकल होते तो वो तो सिर्फ अपने आप को प्राइवेट डिफेंस में प्रोटेक्ट करते ना, तो वहां पे वो ऑप्शन वैलिड हो जाता. बट बिकॉज ऑफ द प्रिंसिपल ऑफ प्राइवेट डिफेंस, नॉट बिकॉज ऑफ द प्रिंसिपल ऑफ मिस्टेक ऑफ फैक्ट. ठीक है, मिस्टेक ऑफ फैक्ट इज एन assumption which you guys are making. ठीक है, अपने आप से लीगल प्रिंसिपल नहीं लेके आना है जो मेंशन नहीं है. Okay. Most of you are saying it's going to be option number 4. Let's check. Employer is liable for the act of a servant performed during course of employment. Simple vicarious liability principle. While working as a driver for Verma, Alok sometimes used to earn side income by carrying parcels for others in Verma's car without his knowledge or permission. While going to pick Verma from airport one day, Alok stopped to deliver a parcel he was carrying with him. While he was delivering the parcel, which unknown to him was one of the contraband goods, police arrested Alok. All right. Which of the following statement is the most appropriate in relation to legal principle? Verma is liable for the act of Alok since he is Verma's driver. Verma is liable for the act of Alok. Acha, ठीक है. Verma is liable for the act of Alok since he had gone to pick Verma from the airport. Verma is not liable for the act of Alok since Alok himself did not know that he was carrying contraband goods. Verma is not liable for the act of Alok since he carrying the parcel was not in the course of his employment. Yes, absolutely. Fourth option makes sense. You guys are right this time. Good job. Let's do the next one. Question number 15. Dakshata is saying option number 2. Let's check that very quickly. Just give me a moment, guys. Verma is liable for the act of Alok since he has gone to pick Verma from the airport. नहीं यार, he had gone to pick Verma from the airport, but check. While he was delivering the parcel, यानी कि he stopped to deliver the parcel. That means he was at that point of time out of the course of employment. That is why he would not be liable. Verma would not be liable. Let's do question number 15. This is a simple one, I think. Dushi is saying, why not one? There is nothing mentioned about knowledge in the principle. Which question are you talking about, Vidushi? This one or the previous one? Okay, let's check. The Latin maxim nemo bis Punitor pro idem delicto means nobody can be punished twice for the same offense. Sergeant, a petty thief is not pretty. A petty thief is caught and thrashed thoroughly by the people before being handed over to the police. Sergeant pleads before the magistrate since he was already thrashed by the people. He should not be punished by the state. Which of the following is most appropriate in relation to the legal principle? A sergeant is right since nobody should be punished for the same offense twice. No, thrashing by people is not punishment. Thrashing given by people does not amount to legal punishment, so sergeant can be punished by the state. Absolutely correct. Giving a good thrashing to thief is the best form of punishment to prevent future theft. Irrelevant. Magistrate should take into consideration thrashing received while fixing punishment. Irrelevant. Option number 2 clearly is the right answer. Let's go to the next one. Question number 16. Vivan is saying, could you please break the maxim down? Sure thing. Just a minute, guys. We'll break the maxim down. देखो, अब I also do not remember all the Latin words and neither are you supposed to. What you are supposed to do is basic वाले पता होने चाहिए आपको. देखो, punitor easily correlates to punishment. This correlates to twice, है ना. By मतलब पता है ना, biannual या फिर जितने भी by वाले words होते हैं वो that means two. By means two. So this correlates to twice. Punitor correlates to punishment. And आपका delicto means someone who has already been punished, a delinquent, right? And nemo means not. Nemo आपने काफी maxims में देखा होगा. Nemo usually means no one या फिर not. That is what nemo means. And pro idem, I don't know what this actually means in English. I'll just Google it for you. So pro idem essentially means for the same. ठीक है, तो पूरा बन गया कि no one should be punished for the same offense twice. Pro idem means for the same. ठीक है, so that is the maxim broken down. Let's do question number 16. अगर आपको 3-4 words भी पता है तो आप easily maxim को interpret कर सकते हो. When will the SLAT results be out? ऐसा timeline तो नहीं बताई है अभी उन लोगों ने, but we are expecting कि हफ्ते 10 दिन में आ जाएंगे, in a few days. Vidushi is saying last question. चलो इसके बाद चलते हैं last question पे. Let's solve this one. Could you please suggest last day's strategy for legal from now on? Firstly, attending this marathon. Secondly, revising legal GK, static legal GK as well as current legal GK, and just practicing a few questions, staying in touch with the practice. That's all you need to do. अच्छा, डेट आ गई है 26 दिसंबर. ओके, चलो ठीक है, लवली, देन दैट्स ग्रेट. 26 को अगर रिजल्ट आ जाएगा तो Kritika, for current affairs, just revising the current affairs which you studied for CLAT and English, those would be sufficient. Nothing extra that you need to do for SLAT. Okay, some are saying 1, some are saying 3. Let's check out this question. Latin maxim, qui facet per alium. Facet per se means that he who acts through another acts himself. ठीक है. अब देखो यहाँ पे अगर आप मैक्सिम को देखो, दैट एलियम से आप कोरिलेट कर सकते हो एलियास. एलियास का मतलब क्या होता है? उर्फ, है ना, हिंदी में इसको कहते हैं, जिसको मतलब जिसको किसी और नाम से भी जाना जाता है या किसी और के थ्रू. So allium comes from there. So acting through someone else, right? Facet per se. Facet per se मतलब per se is how do you use per se in English? This per se means this, right? Per se mean what is the actual situation acting right now. So let's look at the fact situation. Hima requests her minor sister Harika to purchase a bag for her from the local shop. Harika purchases the bag on credit, telling the shopkeeper that her sister will pay for it. Afterwards, Hima refuses to pay for the bag. All right. Which of the following is most appropriate in relation? Since Hima has not purchased the bag herself, she is not liable to pay. No. Hima being a minor, shopkeeper should have sold the bag to her. Should not have sold the bag to her. Minor is irrelevant here. Since she purchased the bag through her sister, Hima is liable to pay for it. Aligns with the principle. Harika being a minor should not have been entrusted by Hima for the purchase of the bag. Bekar, irrelevant. Option number 3 is the correct option for this one. Will there be a marathon for SLAT GK? Yes, day after tomorrow. आज है लीगल की मैराथन, कल है इंग्लिश प्लस LR की मैराथन, एंड परसों है जीके की मैराथन प्लस लास्ट डे टिप्स. That is the schedule. Okay. Let's go to the next one. Acha, एक second. Before we go to the next one, let's check the question जिसमें someone had a doubt. I think this was the question which you were asking. Who was asking? Let me just go back. Vidushi was asking. I think this was the question, Vidushi. Why not one? Or this one? I think this one. Vidushi, can you just quickly prompt me as to which question were you asking? अगर इसमें आप पूछ रहे थे वन क्यों नहीं होगा तो वर्मा इज लाइबल फॉर द एक्ट ऑफ आलोक सिंस ही इज वर्मा's ड्राइवर बट कोर्स ऑफ एम्प्लॉयमेंट भी देखना है ना इट शुड हैपन विद इन द कोर्स ऑफ एम्प्लॉयमेंट एंड बिकॉज इट्स नॉट विद इन द कोर्स ऑफ एम्प्लॉयमेंट he would not be liable. Okay, let's move to the next one. Question 17. What should be the minimum score in SLAT to get admission in Pune, Hyderabad, Noida, and Nagpur? Aim for 50 plus. 50 plus should be your aim, Manjot. Vivan is saying if I don't get SLS, it's over. No, ऐसा नहीं है यार. These competitive exams don't define uh, that life is over or not. ठीक है? These are just one part of life. मैं motivational lecture में नहीं जाना चाहता. But I've seen a lot of people doing really well for themselves who could not crack CLAT or ALET or SLAT. So it's not really a question of how worthy you are. It's just a question of preparation and performing on the D-Day. So don't be too harsh on yourself if you are not able to do well this year. There's always a possibility of trying next year. There was always a possibility to trying other avenues. ठीक है. हाँ वर्मा क्वेश्चन बता तो दिया मैंने. Tanvi saying, will you be taking the next two classes? Yes. Yes, ma'am. I would be taking the next two classes. Answers to this question, please, very quickly. Nelson is saying, is there a chance CLAT will change their final answer key? There are still 4 answers clearly wrong. I'm aware. And if you look at the past track record of the consortium, and from what I understand, there is just 1% likelihood that the answer keys would change now because the results have been published. Okay, some are saying 1, some are saying 2. Let's check this one. Negligence is the absence of care by one party which results in some damage to another. Damage is an essential ingredient to constitute a tort of negligence. Okay. Mistry left his ladder on the public road while unloading it from a truck when he went to open the shutters of his shop. Seni, who was riding his motorcycle, had to swerve hard to avoid hitting the ladder as he came with speed on the road. Seni fell down but was miraculously not injured. Okay. Mistry is not liable for the tort of negligence since Seni was not injured, though he fell down. Seems fair. Mistry is liable for the tort of negligence since Seni fell down due to presence of ladder. Okay. Not liable for tort of negligence since Seni was speeding on the road. नहीं. यहाँ पे ये वाली चीज valid नहीं है हमारे लिए. Not liable because he was careless in leaving the. अच्छा, liable because he was careless in leaving the ladder on the road. But was there any damage? Absence of care by one party which results in some damage to another. क्या damage हुआ कोई पे? यहाँ पे simply लिखा है कि he fell down but he was miraculously not injured. So therefore no damage. If there is no damage, there is no tort of negligence which would be constituted. So simple as that. Option number 1. ठीक है? Those 4 questions made me lose out on any chance of a good NLU. I know it's very unfortunate, yeah, and I really feel bad for you guys. And I can relate to this feeling because I've been in such a position. I gave the 2018 CLAT where such a blunder happened, similar blunder happened. A lot of students lost out on time and they came up with a very weird formula of giving compensation of marks to some students who lost time, but they did not give compensation to majority of the students who lost time. So I can understand how it feels to give an honest year of preparation, give an honest attempt, genuinely work really hard, and then due to such goof ups and ill fate, something like this happens. So all I can say is maybe there is something better in store for all of you. Everything happens for a good reason is what I have come to realize over the course of past 7-8 years. Everything works out for a better reason in future. Okay? So although this might seem really shitty right now, trust me, for the longer run, this is something according to God's plan. Okay? Ciao. Let's move on to the next question. Question number 18. Let's do this. Delson is saying, could any case be made for a PIL against the wrong answer key? Many people are trying to approach the court. Let's see if anything can happen. 92 marks SC category NLU Delhi मिलेगा क्या? Yeah, it really depends on the number of people above you in the SC category who are scoring higher marks. So there's a good possibility कि मिल सकता है, but there is no surety. I cannot give you a assurance कि मिल जाएगा 100%. Because general cutoff is going to be somewhere around the 105 range. So SC cutoff 6-7 नंबर 8 नंबर तो ड्रॉप हो सकता है, बट क्या 10-12 नंबर ड्रॉप होगा? Can't say for sure. I really hope and I am praying that you get it, but at this point I cannot guarantee it. General में 103 in ALET, is this a good score? Seems like a good score, very close to what the cutoff might be. थोड़ा सा luck factor रहेगा यहाँ पे, but let's hope for the best. चलो लेट्स आंसर टू दिस क्वेश्चन गाइस. थोड़ा सा डिविएट कम करते हैं टुवर्ड्स द क्लैट एंड एलेट रिजल्ट्स. आई नो यू गाइस आर वेरी फ्रस्ट्रेटेड, आई नो यू गाइस आर वेरी स्ट्रेस्ड, एंजाइटी है बहुत सारी, उसको लेके बहुत सारा पेंट अप फ्रस्ट्रेशन है, बट आई फील यू. बट फॉर नाउ लेट्स फोकस ऑन द नेक्स्ट बेस्ट थिंग विच वी कैन गेट, विच इज SLS पुणे, एंड फॉर दैट लेट्स फोकस ऑन द मैराथन. ठीक है? I understand after CLAT results, you guys can't study. It's hard. I know it's really hard, but trust me, trust the process. Everything's gonna be uh, setting in their own place. Category ranks are considered or all India rank for those who are in specific category. Depends कि horizontal reservation है या vertical reservation है, and also depends on multiple factors यार, कि all India rank में कितने लोग हैं जो already उस category को use कर रहे हैं. So it's complicated. Do you think 108 is guaranteed for Delhi? See, no one can guarantee anything. I can say that there is a definite 95% chance at 108. But again, there's always 10% of dubiousness for obvious reasons. Chalo, I'm not going to entertain predictions and ranks and colleges for now. Break के time discuss करेंगे ये सारी चीजें. Okay? Some are saying 1, some are saying 3, some are saying 2. Let's check this one. Every partner is liable alone and jointly with other partners for the debts of a partnership firm incurred for the business. Every partner is an agent of every other partner while being a principal in his own right in the business of partnership. Okay? Varun is a partner in a firm with Chinmoy and Jafar. Jafar purchases a car for his personal purpose and obtains credit for the same in the name of partnership behind the back of other partners. He fails to pay the due amount on the expiry of the period of credit. Okay. Which of the following statements is most appropriate in relation to the legal principle stated above? Varun, Chinmoy, and Jafar are liable to pay for the car since they are partners and the credit was obtained in the name of the firm. Varun and Chinmoy are not liable to pay for the car since Jafar purchased it for personal purpose. Varun, Chinmoy, and Jafar are liable as partners for all credit obtained in the name of the firm, even if it is for personal purpose of a partner. Jafar can use the credit of the firm to make purchase even for personal purpose since he's a partner in the partnership. So fourth is definitely wrong. It comes down to 1, 2, and 3, which are really close options. Let's read the principle once again a little slowly. Every partner is liable alone and jointly with other partners for the debts of a partnership firm incurred for the business. Debts of the partnership firm incurred for the business. Every partner is an agent of every other partner while being a principal in his own right in the business of the partnership. Okay. Varun is a partner in the firm, purchases a car for his personal purpose. That means not for the business, and obtains credit for the same in the name of partnership behind the back of other partners. He fails to pay the due. Okay. So because the debt is not incurred for business, it is incurred for personal purpose, he would not be liable. So this would be option number 2. Okay. It's clearly mentioned that the expense should be incurred for the business. It was not incurred for the business, so he would not be liable as per the legal principle. There's no doubt about this. It would be option number two, guys, not one and three. They are not going to be liable, क्योंकि although it was obtained on the name of the firm, it was for a personal purpose. ठीक है? ऐसा कहीं नहीं लिखा कि if it's for personal purpose, then the partners would be liable. It's only for the business. All right, I hope this question is clear. अमर्त्य सिंह, मेरे बोलने के बाद ही दो लोगों के ज्यादा आ गए एलिट में और कम हो गया हो, इसीलिए मैं कह रहा हूँ इट्स नो पॉइंट आस्किंग 10 डिफरेंट पीपल की इतने मार्क्स पे मिलेगा क्या. सो जस्ट ट्रस्ट द प्रोसेस एंड गो विद इट. Viraj, I am not answering those questions anymore. Credit is irrelevant here then. नहीं, credit is relevant, but you have to look at the whole principle in entirety. Even third is personal purpose, but वहाँ पे liable है ना. हमारे यहाँ लिखा है कि जब बिजनेस के लिए लिया जाएगा तभी लाइबल होंगे. They are liable as partners for all credit obtained in the name of the firm, even if it is for personal purpose of the partner. No. If it's for the business, then they would be liable. For the personal purpose, they would not be liable. Simple as that. Option number two. Let's do question number 19. Question 19 on your screen. Let's do this. Vanshika is saying, are we to exclude all plausible external knowledge while looking at legal question? Does that external knowledge amount to assumption if the principle is... Yes, that's correct. Absolutely right. That is the approach. Unless explicitly mentioned. Otherwise. Manav is saying, where can I find this PDF? This PDF is not for circulation, unfortunately, Manav. So you can just follow along and practice. These are primarily previous year CLAT and ELIT questions, so you can refer to them. They are all available online. So ऐसा नहीं है कि कुछ अलग से है इसमें. These are just previous year questions from CLAT and ELIT. Okay, some are saying one, some are saying two. Let's check them out. Parents are not liable for the wrongs committed by their children unless they provide the opportunity for such wrongful acts to be committed by their children. Okay. Sunil, a minor, takes the keys to his father's car from the tabletop where his father keeps it, drives the car on the public road, and hits a pedestrian who gets injured. Which of the following statement is most appropriate in context of the legal principle? Since Sunil took the car without his father's permission, his father is not liable. No, not a strong option. Sunil's father is liable for the conduct resulting in since he left the car keys where his son could easily take it without permission. Yes, correct. They gave the opportunity, provided the opportunity. ऐसा नहीं है कि खुद से आपको keys देनी है. You just need to provide the opportunity. Leaving it on the table is equivalent to providing an opportunity to take the key, and it's easily the fault of the parent here. Accidents happen despite utmost care and hence no, this is irrelevant option. Not liable since he had kept his car locked and securely deposited its keys without negligence on the tabletop. How do you securely deposit your keys without negligence on tabletop? Like, makes no sense, right? When keys are just lying on the tabletop, they are not securely deposited. And if the child can access it, then clearly they are not securely deposited. So it's going to be option number two. Okay. Chalo. Let's go. Question number 20. Anushri, score of 50 plus, definitely. Looking at past year trends. But if the paper is, let's say, hypothetically very, very complicated and tough, then might come down by a few marks. But because there is no negative marking, 50 plus is a good score. Let's do this question. No remedy lies in law where an injury is caused to a person without any infringement of his legal right. You guys are saying it's going to be 2, 3. Kushi is saying why not option 1 in the previous question. I'll check it. after this. Okay. Some are saying two, some are saying three. Let's check. No remedy lies in law where an injury caused to a person without any infringement of his legal right. ठीक है. Damnum sign injuria वाली चीज है. Ashto started a tuition center right next to the one being okay. तो Gloucester Grammar School केस लग रहा है. Simply option number three, no doubt about this. We have discussed this in the marathon. This is based on a landmark case of Gloucester Grammar School, जहाँ पे एक स्कूल खुलता है उसके साथ में दूसरा स्कूल खुल जाता है जिस वजह से पहले वाले स्कूल का नुकसान हो जाता है बट देयर इज नो इन्फ्रिंजमेंट ऑफ लीगल राइट. Therefore, option number three would easily be the right answer. This is irrelevant, and this is also irrelevant. This is also irrelevant. Only option number three follows the principle. Question number 21. Acha, before that, let's check the first option of previous question. Since Sunil took the car without his father's permission, his father is not liable for. यार छोटे बच्चे परमिशन थोड़ी ना लेते हैं. छोटे बच्चे तो I mean, this is a little bit of common sense involved here that if something is kept on the table, the child would, if the child has to do a mischief, he would not take permission, right? No child would take a permission अगर उसको अपने पापा की गाड़ी की चाबी उठा के गाड़ी चलाने लेके जानी है. So you cannot really put it on the child here. But because they provided the opportunity for such wrongful act to be committed, they are liable. Okay. So let's go to question number 21. How is leaving the keys on the table creating an opportunity? How is it not, yeah? How is it not? खुद सोचो ना. मैं खुद ये करता था. घर पे मुझे स्कूटी की चाबी मिल जाती थी. अगर पड़ी हुई तो मैं जैसे ही पापा घर से बाहर जाते थे तो मैं स्कूटी लेके चला जाता था घूमने. When I was in 7th or 8th. Okay, I should not have said this on record, but ठीक है. Whatever. If Sunil was not a minor according to principal, if he was an adult, तो फिर तो principal ही follow नहीं होता ना. If he would have been an adult, principal was about minor and the wrongful act. ऐसे तो कितने सारे variations हो सकते हैं. Okay, most of you are saying it's going to be option number three. Let's check that out. 23 of Constitution states that no person accused of any offense shall be compelled to be a witness against himself, self-incrimination. Obaid refuses to give a sample of his blood after he is stopped by the police for driving over the speed limit. Police suspect him to be driving under the influence of alcohol, which is prohibited under law. Which of the following statement is most appropriate in relation to the legal principle? Whether is protected by Article 23 in refusal to give blood sample? No. Not protected as he was under influence of alcohol? Not of that reason, not because of that reason. Not protected in his refusal to give sample since he is not accused of any offense yet. That is true. That is also true. Refusal to give a blood sample is a crime and this is irrelevant. 3 is the most appropriate out of the 4 options. Clearly the right answer. Let's do question number 23. Delson, accusation is not equivalent of being charged with an offense. One is saying blood sample for drunk driving. फूक मारने वाली machine का क्या हुआ? It seems like you have a lot of experience. Okay, next question, people. Okay, most are saying option number 4. Let's check this out. The law states that a food business operator must be registered with or licensed by the FSSAI to run a food business. Must be registered with or licensed by the FSSAI. Okay. Kavita's neighbors suffer food poisoning after consuming sweets gifted by her on the occasion of celebration at her home. Kavita does not have a registration or license from FSSAI. Food business operator. Food business operator थोड़ी ना है कविता. Kavita is in violation of the law since she does not have. No. Kavita is not in violation since she did not make the sweet she gave by the way of gift. Seems correct. Law does not apply in cases like this where transaction happened between neighbors. This is way too broad and general. Kavita did not need to take a license or register since she is not running a phone business. This is the closest one. For option number four seems to be most appropriate. Inadequate info cause we don't know where the sweets came from. Huh, but because we don't know where the sweets came from, we are going to go with the assumption that she is not running the business, because if she were running, the facts would explicitly state so. ठीक है. यहाँ पे सिर्फ गिफ्टेड लिखा है, मैन्युफैक्चर्ड नहीं लिखा है. तो गिफ्टेड से तो कॉमन assumption इज दैट शी डिड नॉट मेक देम. ओके, चलो. It's 4 p.m. Let's take a short 10-minute break. 6-7 minutes break भी ले सकते हैं. 10-minute break लेते हैं चलो. And let's just chill for 10 minutes. ठीक है. उसके बाद we'll restart at 4:10. We'll start practicing more questions. लगातार हम questions करते रहेंगे तो आप लोग बोर हो जाओगे. काफी लोग बोर हो भी गए हैं. So for the 10 minutes, let's just have some informal chit chat. आप लोग मुझे बताओ which is your favorite movie? I need some new movie recos. Which is your favorite movie till date? Tell the movie along with the genre. ठीक है, genre भी बता देना मुझे. NRI quota minimum rank. Can't say यार अनुष्का. मतलब depends on a lot of factors, and I do not have a lot of data with respect to the NRI quota, so I don't want to make a prediction which is wrong. When do elite results usually come by? They usually come around the counseling process for CLAT when it begins. So ideally, I'm expecting the results to be out either today or tomorrow. Let's see. आ जाने चाहिए within 2 days. आ जाने चाहिए. Will there be a session on AR? AR के लिए elite में हम session कर चुके हैं आशी, so you can refer to that. I would not be covering a lot of AR in tomorrow's session. Primarily CR, a little bit of AR as well. Few Good Men, legal thriller. I have heard a lot about that movie and it's on my watch list. ZNMD. Oh, that's my favorite movie. All time favorite. All time favorite movie ZNMD. YJHD देख रखी है, जिगरा नहीं देखी है. जिगरा देखनी पड़ेगी. I'll take note of that. Evil Dead horror genre, best horror I have seen. Okay. YJHD मैंने देखी है, Interstellar भी देखी है. Watch Oculus if you're into horror movies. I like horror movies. I really enjoy horror movies, but they actually have to be horror movies. I don't like to invest my time in horror movies which are not able to scare me. Tamil films are goated. Yeah, unfortunately, I don't understand Tamil, but if you can drop some recommendations, I'll try to find the dubbed versions. CL student solving SLAT mock, but the GK is weird. Yeah, GK actual SLAT की भी weird ही आती है, so it's in sync. My Life with the Walter Boys. Okay, I'll check that out. Rockstar मैंने देख रखी है, fantastic movie. लापता Ladies I have seen, fantastic movie. I like both यार, English और Hindi. I don't have any predispositions in terms of movies. Songs में थोड़े कम सुनता हूँ English वाले, but movies तो I like both, English and Hindi. Sully, Tom Hanks. Okay. शॉशैंक रिडेम्पशन मैंने देखी है, गॉडफादर भी मैंने देखी है, स्कारफेस नहीं देखी है. आई विल वॉच स्कारफेस. I've seen two of them. Secret Superstar I have watched. I think ये वही वाली है ना जिसमें वो जो लड़की होती है and उसको गिटार बजाना रहता है. I think that is the movie. It's a good movie. I have watched it. Wild Wild Punjab. I saw it on Netflix. ठीक थी. It was decent, good, fun one-time watch. Rocky and Rani I watched in the theater. It was a good one. For CLAT, we are allowed a transparent folder. Is it the same for SLAT? Huh. It's the same, yeah, more or less the same. But remember that you need to carry colored printouts of admit cards for SLAT. That is very important. Are you going to do anything for LNAT? We have not planned anything such for LNAT, but we can definitely do a session for LNAT if people demand it. The summer I turned pretty. Okay, seems like a romantic sort of a genre. भी बताओ यार मुझे. Please tell the genre as well. Maharaja was a fantastic movie. I just loved that movie, Lavanya. Maharaja, I recently watched it like 15-20 days ago. Loved it. Skibidi War of Gats. Okay, काफी interesting नाम है ये. What is the genre? Please keep telling me the genre as well. If you like humor, Mr. Popper's Penguins. Okay, I'll check that out. In SLAT, do we need external legal knowledge? And if yes, what source could we refer to? प्राइमरली और वही ना मैंने जो बताया स्टैटिक जी के आपका कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन का डेवलपमेंट एंड ऑल ऑफ दोस थिंग्स एंड मेजर अमेंडमेंट्स मेजर आर्टिकल्स ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन एंड आपका जो कंटेम्प्रेरी अमेंडमेंट्स हुए हैं जो बीएनएस वगैरह सिटीजनशिप एक्ट सब कैटेगराइजेशन लीगल न्यूज जो इस साल की है ऑल ऑफ दोस थिंग्स सोर्सेज वुड बी द सेम फॉर एलिट एंड क्लैट जो थे वही वाले स्लैट के लिए भी रहेंगे Oculus is definitely a good movie. Scared. Okay, I'll watch Oculus on a priority if it's a strong recommendation. ठीक है. Berlin is a series though. Is it related to Money Heist? ऐसा कुछ है क्या? Office the show. इसके बारे में मैंने बहुत सुना है. I have not started it yet, but हाँ, I've heard a lot of good things about the Office. Light-hearted humor वाला है वो. मुझे पता है I'm aware of Office, but मैंने अभी तक देखा नहीं है. Love triangle with two bros involved. Summer I turned pretty. Okay, interesting. Shivaji the Boss. Oh my god, this is classic. This is from the TV days. I loved that movie. ऐसे ऐसे वाला ना बढ़िया था एकदम. Kanchana also I have watched. महाराजन ये वाली नहीं देखी मैंने. महाराजन मावीरन वीरूमंडी वेटैयन. ओके कॉमेडी ठीक है. हेरिडिटरी मैंने देखी है. मुझे उतनी ज़्यादा स्केरी नहीं लगी एक्सेप्ट द लास्ट 10-15 odd minutes. It was mid for me. I mean, my threshold for horror is a little higher. Watch Vincenzo. It is a Korean drama, but genre is suspense. ठीक है, okay. Most 2000s Bollywood films are. I agree. I completely agree, Yashasvi. Can you please send the link for SLAT AR video? It's not specifically for SLAT. It was for ALIT, but it would be relevant for SLAT as well. You can find it on the channel. आप सर्च करोगे एलिट मैराथन एनालिटिकल रीजनिंग तो आपको मिल जाएगा. ठीक है, वरना मैं सेशन के एंड में आई विल पेस्ट द लिंक एज वेल. अच्छा मनी हाइस्ट से रिलेटेड है बर्लिन. हाँ हाँ मैं देख लूंगा. मनी हाइस्ट आई हैव वॉच्ड पूरा का पूरा. आई लव्ड मनी हाइस्ट. सूट्स आई हैव वॉच्ड बट आफ्टर a few seasons I got a little bored, especially at that time when he becomes the name partner in the firm. उसके बाद से मुझे लगा थोड़ा सा मोनोटोनस सा हो गया तो उसके बाद I left it. Skibidi is an action movie, very good, intense thriller. Okay, we'll check that out. Suits was amazing for the first initial few seasons, 3, 4, 5 seasons were good. उसके बाद मुझे लगा थोड़ा सा monotonous हो गया for me. Night at the Museum, दोबारा, strange suspense. Okay. Have you seen all Godfather movies? And if yes, did you like the first part more or second part? I think I only watched the first part. Second part मुझे देखना है. I've heard a lot of good things about the second part as well. Some people say the second one is better. So I'll check if I have watched first or second. मुझे याद नहीं है. I think first ही देखा है मैंने. How to lose a guy in 10 days rom-com. Okay. Sounds like an interesting title. Recommend horror movies and series. Okay. Of course, there's the classic ones. Conjuring वगैरह आपकी हो जाती है. Then if you look at the Japanese one, The Ring is a good movie. If you look at आपका ये वाला जो थोड़ा Turkish and ये वाला horror रहता है तो उसमें there is a movie which is on YouTube. It's called Sijin. I don't remember the spelling, but if you search आपको मिल जाएगा शायद. तो वो भी काफ़ी intense थी. और horror movies बहुत ज़्यादा है नहीं ऐसी जो मुझे scary and recommend वर्दी लगी है. If you are into gore, then there is the Saw series. काफ़ी लोगों को पता होगा. And और कौन सी बॉलीवुड में भी थी एक दो अच्छी horror movies. Can't recall the name right now. Ram Gopal Verma used to make good horror movies. So yeah. Bhul Bhulaiya 1 was fantastic. I loved it. Shutter Island, I've heard a lot about this. I'm going to watch that. Jatin is saying Telangana CLAT rank is within available domicile. Doesn't mean Nalsar is basically allotted. I think so. But it depends कि अगर आपसे हायर रैंक वाले ज़्यादा लोग हैं जिनके पास ऑलरेडी तेलंगाना डोमिसाइल है तो then that might be dicey. Best thriller horror Orphan 1 and 2. अच्छा, I haven't watched them. We'll try. Boston Legal, better version of Suits. Okay. Squid Games was fantastic. I think उसका second season आ रहा है very soon. Lincoln Lawyers is pretty good too. Okay. India's Got Latent तो मैं देखता हूँ यार. कल ही नया एपिसोड आया था. परसों नया एपिसोड आया था. The भारती सिंह वाला. And I love India's Got Latent. Favorite show right now. Are you into art films? Haven't explored, but would love a good recommendation. Legally Blonde, Hush, good suspense thriller. Okay. Milk first or cereal? I'm not a big cereal person, and I'm not really a big milk person as well. So it's mostly coffee or tea for me. Mostly cold coffee. I really like cold coffee. So yeah. Haunting of Hill House, Haunting of BLY Manor on Netflix. ठीक है ये मैं check out करूँगा. Suits LA is coming out next year. Should be good. चलो, we'll watch that. 410 हो गया. चलो, वंशिका wants to solve more questions. The Terminal मैंने देखी है. ये वही है ना जिसपे वो एयरपोर्ट पे फंस जाता है. He has a passport of a country which ceases to exist. I think that is the movie. It was fantastic movie. Art of Gyat is a horror film, top notch plots. Okay, we'll check that out. Chalo, we are up with our break time. It's time to get back to solving some questions. 10-15 people have left the stream. हमारी बातें सुन के बट ठीक है कोई बात नहीं. I got some good movie recommendations, so I'm happy. No, like when do you eat cereal? Do you put the cereal in the bowl first or milk? Yeah, the last time I ate cereal was when I was 3, 4, 5 years old. उसके बाद से मुझे नहीं लगता मैंने cereal और milk कभी खाया है intentionally. And I don't remember honestly कि मैंने पहले cereal डाला या पहले मैंने milk डाला. But if I were in today's position, I would put cereal first and then milk. That would be my order. Okay, chalo. Let's begin. Let's begin the question solving. I hope everyone is back to the stream. Let's solve the next question. Question number 24. Break time is over. Let's come back, solve some questions. Samarth, I'll address this in the next break. अब हम question solve करेंगे. पहले पूछना चाहिए था question. I had a good response to that. But yes, I love to travel. Natik, I got 85. मैंने quant attempt नहीं करी थी. I got 85. Which I feel is fine. Not bad. मेरे को थोड़ी ना NLU जाना है. मैं तो हो आया ऑलरेडी. आप लोग को जाना है. Answers to this question very quickly. I can only see 3 people who have answered. I would appreciate more responses. Jaldi se. All right. All of you are unanimously saying option number 3. Let's check this. Agreement entered into by way of wager or bet is unenforceable in law. Thomas is very good at predicting outcomes of cricket matches. Raja and Hoja give him rupees 1,000 each to enable him to bet with others about the outcome of a cricket match. Thomas wins rupees 3 lakh after betting 3,000 rupees. Wow. Which of the following statements is the most appropriate to the legal principle? Thomas must share 3 lakh rupees with Raja and Hoja equally. Thomas must return rupees 3,000. Thomas need not share the 3 lakh with Raja and Hoja since it's outcome of a unenforceable agreement. If Thomas does not pay them rupees 2 lakh, Raja and Hoja can sue him. They cannot sue him unenforceable. And ये दोनों भी थोड़े relevant ही हैं. So principle से सबसे ज़्यादा aligned is option number 3. Although it might feel unethical, but that is the right answer. Chalo, let's go to question number 25. Audi Ultram Partum. Here the other side. थोड़ा सा थोड़ा सा डार्क क्वेश्चन हो गया ये. बट ठीक है. Okay, some are saying 3, some are saying 2. Let's check this. Audi Ultram Partum, here the other side. No one should be judged without a fair hearing. Sanjay in Delhi is accused of theft, brought before the court. Magistrate discovers that Sanjay is mute. That is, he cannot speak. Most appropriate action. Principle is not applicable since he's mute. No principle would be applicable. Latin principle not applicable in India. Irrelevant option. Applicable to Sanjay even though he cannot speak since he can be asked to write down his defense. This seems like an appropriate answer. Magistrate has to take all measures to understand what Sanjay has to convey about the accusation against him. Now, this also seems like the right answer. So let's check कि principle से सबसे ज़्यादा line कौन सा हो रहा है. Here the other side, no person should be judged without a fair hearing. So I believe fair hearing की जब हम बात करते हैं, this one option number 3 is more aligned with the phrase fair hearing क्योंकि this is restricting him to write down the defense. What if he's illiterate? You don't know he can write it down, right? You don't know those things. But taking all measures to understand what he has to convey aligns with the principle a little bit more as compared to 2, which is restricting him to just write down his defense, where there could be n number of possibilities. There could be a number of permutations, combinations, where maybe writing down the defense is not the best course of action. We need to follow a legal principle which says that fair hearing मिलनी चाहिए. So सारे measures लिए जाने चाहिए to convey the accusation. ठीक है? So I would go with option number 3 here. Correct. You can change your answer in the CBT mode. Yes, you can change your answer, Samarth. चलो let's do question number 26. 26, 26, 26 जल्दी से करते हैं. Answers, people? Okay, all of you are saying option number 2. Let's check. Essential condition in a contract of sale of goods is that seller has title over the goods sold. Ranjan pays 2000 and buys a watch from Mohit, who runs a watch showroom and a repair shop. Jatin sees the watch with Ranjan and tells him that it is his watch and was only given to Mohit for repairs. If what Jatin says is true, which of the following statement is most appropriate in relation to the legal principle? You guys are saying two. Let's check. Ranjan is now the owner of the watch since he paid 2000 rupees for it. Oh. Ranjan is not the owner of the watch since Mohit did not have a title to it. Okay. Mohit must pay Jatin rupees 2000 since he sold Jatin's watch. Okay. Mohit is the owner of the watch since he sold it to Ranjan. पहले तो लिख लें हमारे कैरेक्टर्स कौन कौन है. एक है रंजन भाई साहब, एक है मोहित भाई साहब और एक है जतिन भाई साहब. तो रंजन पेज रुपीज 2000 एंड बाइज अ वॉच फ्रॉम मोहित. ठीक है, मोहित ने इसको वॉच दी, इसने इसको 2000 रुपए दिए. जतिन सीज द वॉच विद रंजन एंड टेल्स हिम दैट इट इज हिज वॉच एंड वाज ओनली गिवन टू मोहित फॉर रिपेयर्स. तो जतिन भाई साहब की वॉच है जो इन्होंने मोहित को रिपेयर करने दी थी. इफ वॉट जतिन सेज इज ट्रू, विच ऑफ द फॉलोइंग इज करेक्ट? Essential condition in a contract of sale of goods is that the seller has the title over the goods sold. Okay. Ranjan is now the owner of the watch since he paid rupees 2000 of it. No. Ranjan is not the owner since Mohit did not have a title to it. That's correct. Mohit must pay Jatin 2000 since he sold Jatin's watch. No. Mohit is the owner of the watch since he sold it to Ranjan. No. Option number 2 makes the most sense and would be the correct answer. Okay. Chalo, let's do question number 27. Question 27. Answers, people. Some are saying one, some are saying two. Let's check it out. Insurer asks, agrees to pay no more than the actual amount of the loss. Sunny insures his car worth rupees 5 lakhs with X, an insurance company, for its value. He again insures the same car with Y against another company on the same terms, which means 5 lakhs. There is an accident and the car suffers a total loss. In his separate suits against X and Y, if Sunny recovers rupees 5 lakhs from X, how much can he recover from Y? Okay. Which of the following is most appropriate? Sunny can recover rupees 5 lakhs from Y. Sunny can recover any amount from Y. ये तो गलत हो गया. Sunny must pay Y the rupees 5 lakhs he received from X. क्यों भाई? Sunny cannot insure his car with both X and Y at the same time. ये तो गलत ही हो गया. तो वन ही होगा ऑप्शन सही. Just because of elimination. Ideally, the best option would have been that he can recover 5 lakhs from both X and Y, but because that is not in the option, option number one becomes the most appropriate answer. I read option two wrong. Okay. Sunny cannot recover any amount from Y. Why would this be? हाँ. अच्छा. Okay. Cannot recover है. मैंने can recover पढ़ लिया. Okay, my bad, my bad, my bad. I'm so sorry. He cannot recover any amount from Y. Why he cannot recover any amount from Y? उसने इंश्योरेंस कराया Y के साथ 5 लाख का. He can recover it from Y as well. ठीक है. Actual amount of loss तो 5 लाख है ना. उसने इंश्योरर दो अलग लिए हैं. One is X, one is Y. So he would also make good the actual amount of loss 5 लाख. He will also make good the actual amount of loss 5 लाख. अब ऐसा थोड़ी है कि एक बार उसको 5 लाख मिल गए तो लॉस जीरो हो गया तो अब वाई की कोई लायबिलिटी नहीं है. नहीं, वाई की लायबिलिटी भी वो उसका 5 लाख का लॉस पे करने की है. सो बोथ ऑफ देम वुड पे 5 लाख एंड बिकॉज दैट इज नॉट what is written in option 2, option 1 would make most sense. ठीक है. cool. नहीं, ऐसा स्प्लिट नहीं होता. 2.5 ईच डबल मिलता है. ऐसा नहीं होता कि ढाई ढाई मिलेगा. पूरी रिकवरी 10 लाख की होगी. आप प्रीमियम आधा आधा थोड़ी ना दे रहे थे दोनों कंपनीज को. प्रीमियम तो वो पूरा दे रहा होगा ना. प्रिंसिपल इज नॉट सेइंग कि एक सही कर सकता है या स्प्लिट कर सकता है. प्रिंसिपल इज सेइंग जितना लॉस हुआ है उतना इंश्योरर को पे करना है. 5 लाख लॉस हुआ है तो इंश्योरर 5 लाख पे करने के लिए लायबल है. सिंपल एज दैट. ठीक है. समर्थ इज सेइंग इनफाइनाइट मनी हैक्स. बिल्कुल. चलो, लेट्स गो. क्वेश्चन नंबर 28. Tanishka is saying insuring one asset with two insurers is legal. That's none of our concern. रियल लाइफ सिनेरियो में क्या वैलिड है क्या इनवैलिड है वो तो हमें जानने की जरूरत है ही नहीं. We are just going to follow the principle. Samarth is saying this is a real case. Chalo, let's check. When there is an infringement of the legal right of a person, he gets the right to sue the wrongdoer for remedy, irrespective of any actual cause. Saroj is prevented from voting. She intended to vote, wins the election. Yes, this is a real case. The name of the case is Ashby versus White. Landmark case है ये. ठीक है. This is basically the principle of injurious in damnum. एंड इसका आंसर तो बहुत सिंपल है क्योंकि हम ये बहुत बार कर चुके हैं. लीगल राइट हैज बीन वायलेटेड. शी कैन sue द पर्सन. ठीक है. Won the election, right not violated, wrong. Not the candidate, not violated, wrong. Not applicable, wrong. Option 1 simple, correct, easy answer. Let's do the next one. Question number 30. Some are saying one, some are saying two. Why would you say one for this? अच्छा पिछले क्वेश्चन का आंसर है ये. ठीक है. मोस्ट ऑफ यू आर सेइंग टू. मैं एक सेकंड के लिए सोचने लग गया था कि ये कैसा सपोर्ट है लता जी के लिए कि उनको अगले दिन यूज करना है तो भी इलीगल है. Lata, while shopping, notices milk packets are due for expiry on that day. She objects to the shopkeeper, saying that she was there to buy milk for the next day. Keeping the milk on its date of was against the law. And वो कह रहा है after its date of expiry आप नहीं sell कर सकते. तो most appropriate is you should not sell the milk packets after the date of expiry. Option number two. Lata is right. Shopkeeper should take the milk off his shelves. No. Must remove the milk packets. Keep it refrigerated. Irrelevant. Milk is not a product, and hence the principle is not absolutely wrong. Question number 31. Let's do question 31. Okay, all of you are saying option number two. Let's check. Nuisance is the unlawful interference with a person's enjoyment of his land or some rights over it in connection with it. Ashok in his 90s is hard of hearing and plays the radio very loudly throughout the day. And on a daily basis, Raju, his neighbor, complains that he cannot listen to his favorite TV show in his home due to the radio of Ashok. Which of the following is most appropriate? Listening to the radio is Ashok's freedom. Very vague. Ashok is creating nuisance to his neighbor by playing radio loud, perpetually, and disturbing Raju and being able to. Seems correct. Raju is creating nuisance by complaining about Ashok's enjoyment. Or a pauper. No. Raju should appreciate that Ashok is aged and hard of hearing. क्या ही बोला जाए. Wrong answer. So all three are vague options. Option number two is the correct one. Let's go to the next one. Question number 32. Nishka is saying, but Ashok was not playing radio perpetually. How is to correct? Throughout the day, on a daily basis. अब अगर इसको परपेचुअली नहीं कहते तो किसको कहते हैं? कि पूरा दिन बज रहा है और रोज बज रहा है तो परपेचुअली नहीं हुआ वो. Yes or no? चलो let's check the next one. Vivan is saying, are these PYQs or just mock questions? These are PYQs, yeah. All of these are PYQs from CLAT and ELIT. Primarily CLAT. Okay, some are saying one, Viraj is saying one or three. It's easily one. Agreements in restraint of trade are void and unenforceable. Manu has been working as a blacksmith for many decades. Somu has been undergoing training with him. After training is over, he enters into agreement with Manu that he will not start a competing business in the same village while Manu is alive. Clearly in restraint of trade, so void and enforceable, unenforceable. Void and enforceable, restraint on trade, correct option. Valid and enforceable because Somu's teacher, no. Valid but not enforceable after Manu's death, no. Not valid at all. Valid and enforceable since it is to protect Manu's interest? No. Simply just because it's restraint of trade following the principle? Option number one. Question number 35. Is this class till 9? 9 yaar. This class is till 6 p.m. So we are halfway into it. Half is left. restraint of trade question was in a mock and they said D. नहीं 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 हो ही नहीं सकता. Like wrong answer. अच्छा, सैड हो रहे हो आप 9 बजे तक नहीं है. वाह यार, से मेरा दिल भर आया एकदम. और नहीं हो जाते हो आप लोग 6 घंटा एक ही मैराथन में मेरी शक्ल देखते देखते. Van is saying, is there another marathon after this? Not today, tomorrow. आज एक ही है. आज एक ही मैराथन है 3 to 6. Van is saying पढ़ने के लिए these questions are nice. I know. इसलिए तो कर रहे हैं हम. Okay, some are saying 2, some are saying 4. Let's check it out. A person is liable to compensate others for harm caused by the escape of any inherently dangerous material that he keeps on his land. Okay. Ankit lights a bonfire in his courtyard to warm himself up during a cold winter night. A strong wind suddenly blows some sparks from the fire onto his neighbor's house, which catches fire and gets completely destroyed. Damn. Which of the following is most appropriate? Ankit's neighbor is liable to Ankit for distress caused by keeping a house that catches fire catches fire so quickly. Wow, hilarious. Ankit is not liable because nobody could foresee that the sudden wind will blow the sparks to cause a fire. Ankit's neighbor cannot make Ankit liable for the loss of his house since it was an accidental fire that destroyed it. Ankit is liable to compensate because the fire escaped from his premises to burn down his neighbor's house. So some of you are saying 2, some of you are saying 4. 2 is saying not liable because nobody could foresee that sudden wind will blow the sparks to cause a fire. Is there a mention of intention or foreseeability in the principle? No. A bonfire is inherently dangerous. Yes, it is not really a natural use of land. So, because the fire escaped from his premises and burned down the neighbor's house, he is simply liable to compensate. Option number 4 होगा, aligned with the principle. अब आपको लगेगा कि this seems a little far fetched, but you have to just follow the principle. ठीक है, रियल लाइफ ज्ञान नहीं लगाना होता लीगल वाले क्वेश्चंस में. Just follow the principle, and aligning with the principle is option number 4. ठीक है, this is going a little off track. Okay. Elite marathon on this page is appropriate for studying for SLAT. Yes, it is. Both the CLAT and the elite marathons are appropriate for SLAT because the syllabus is more or less aligned. Question number 36. Amrita is saying, you are my favorite. I came across you since the marathon started. Sad that I did not get to study from you. Chalo. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's really heartwarming. I really appreciate your comment. And I'm glad to have you all as my students. It's a true pleasure. Varshin is saying, should we consider the principle only? Yes, that is the premise on which we are operating. Chalo, let's do this one. Question, answers to this question, please. I'll miss these times too, yeah. Delsin Donuts. Neve. I know your name now, Neve. So yeah. I'll miss all of you too. It's gonna be a little sad once this ends on 15th. Samarth is saying, why do you need 10 tons of rice? This has always been the case. स्कूल में भी इस तरीके के एग्जांपल्स होते थे. Someone bought 20 watermelons. बट हाँ ठीक है चलो. अच्छा मेरा नाम है इस क्वेश्चन में. Characteristic feature of partnerships is the principle of mutual agency. Every partner is an agent for every other partner and hence will be able to bind them by his act within the business of partnership. Okay. ठीक है. Ram and Shyam are partners of MSRNS, a trading company which trades in rice varieties. Ram agrees to purchase 10 tons of rice from Govind. Okay. Uh, so Ram is taking 10 tons of rice from Govind. Ram dies after the rice is delivered to the premises of MSRS Trading Company, but before the payment of price is made. Payment of price is rice होगा ना ये, before the payment of rice is made. Is the agreement binding on Sham? Okay, so प्रिंसिपल कहता है कि every other partner would be bound within the business of partnership. So होना तो चाहिए. Being partners, Ram's agreement to purchase rice for their partnership is not binding on Sham. No. Since Ram is no more, agreement is not binding. No. Being partners, Ram's agreement is binding on Sham. Yes. Binding on Ram and not on Sham, since the rice is delivered only to trading company and not to Sham. No. It would be option number 3 very clearly. और विराज इज सेइंग वील मिस यू. अरे आई विल मिस यू टू गाइस. अभी अभी आज सेंटी नहीं होते हैं. 15 तारीख को सेंटी होंगे. ठीक है, अभी तो हैं 4-5 दिन हैं हमारे साथ में. चलो ठीक है. लेट्स मूव टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. दिस इज कंक्लूजन बेस्ड. ओके, चलो ये भी कर लो, कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. क्या चल रहा है चैट बॉक्स में? रैंक रैंक चल रहा है. चलो लेट्स सॉल्व दिस वन. Statement and conclusion वाला question है. It's a fundamental duty which is unenforceable in the court of law that every citizen shall renounce practices derogatory to the dignity of women. Okay, fundamental duty है but unenforceable है. Reservation of seats for women in employment is violative of the principle. No. Asking a lady inappropriate questions about her personal life is violative. Violating the dignity. So only conclusion 2 would follow, therefore option number 2. This was simple. Let's do question number 41. Okay, some are saying 2, some are saying 3. Let's check. A punishment is the imposition of an undesirable or unpleasant outcome upon a group or individual meted out by an authority. Eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth is an example of punishment. How? Eye for an eye तो बदला लेना होता है कि आपने किसी का नुकसान किया, फिर सामने वाले ने आपका नुकसान किया. हाउ इज दैट एन एग्जाम्पल ऑफ पनिशमेंट? पनिशमेंट इज बाय एन अथॉरिटी, राइट? यहाँ पे तो this is usually between equals, so I don't think this is a valid conclusion. Very vague. Imposition of fine on someone who inflicted bodily injury on another is justified by the statement. Okay. Hmm. Is it justified by the statement? Also, there is imposition of fine, but we do not know that imposition of fine is by an authority or by anyone. We do not know that. So I'm going to go with option number four. Neither conclusion follows because of the fact that I do not know that the imposition is by an authority or not. अगर यहाँ पे by an authority होता तो I would have gone with option number two, but अभी I'll go with option number four क्योंकि authority का नहीं पता ना मुझे. पूरा statement is meted out by an authority. So yeah, option number four. आप सब लोगों ने अथॉरिटी वाला चीज नहीं सोचा क्या? Ivan is saying if that was the case, then crime rates in India would be very low. I saw this in a mock somewhere. It used the same phrases. हो सकता है. PYQ है ये. हाँ विवान वही तो मैं कह रहा हूँ. It would be option number four. How do we do assertion reasoning if we don't know the statements are true or false? Assertion reasoning में लिखा होता है to assume that the assertion is a true statement. ठीक है, उसमें you can assume the assertion is true. You have to tell that the reason is the correct reason for it or not. बट हाँ, अगर नहीं लिखा है, अगर सिर्फ ये पूछा है कि assertion is true, reason is false, या reason is true, assertion is false, then you obviously would have to use your own understanding, your common sense. ठीक है, let's do question number 42. We also don't know about the fine, whether it's imposed or not. Yes, that is also there. Mel Brown is saying, I believe it's two only. But how are you going to assume that the imposition is by an authority? Is my question. Believe तो मैं भी करता हूँ कि मुझे मेरे पास अंबानी जितने पैसे होने चाहिए, बट बिलीव से नहीं होता ना. Want to practice more questions? From where can I do it? सबसे पहले तो PYQs कर लो, उसके बाद you can look at your mocks, previous mocks, free mocks by different institutes. Second statement says justified by the statement given. हाँ, correct. चलो let's do this one. ये वाला करते हैं जल्दी से. स्लैट के PYQs नहीं मिलते हैं क्या? नहीं मिलते हैं, वो लोग पब्लिश नहीं करते अपने पेपर्स. सिंह प्रॉफिट एंड लॉस एंड कंपाउंड इंटरेस्ट, सिंपल इंटरेस्ट कहाँ से प्रैक्टिस करूँ? मॉक से प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हो. उसके अलावा आप जो है क्लैट में और एलेट में PYQs जब आते थे, जब व्हेन क्वांट यूज्ड टू बी आस्क्ड डिफरेंटली, नॉट एज DI, तो वो वाले प्रैक्टिस कर सकते हो. एंड उसके अलावा देयर आर टन्स ऑफ वीडियोस ऑन यूट्यूब यार. देयर आर सो मेनी फ्री रिसोर्सेज फॉर दीज टॉपिक्स. Samarth is saying got distracted, dog came to me to get petted. That's a reasonable excuse. I'll excuse that. I like dogs. Chalo, people are saying three, that only one and three follow. Let's check. Necessity knows no law. Act of a captain throwing some cargo into the ocean to save the ship from sinking is justified by the principle. Yes, necessity principle. Act of a man out of poverty and starvation stealing some food from a hotel is justified by the principle. अच्छा, कैप्टन है और वो कार्गो फेंक के नुकसान कर रहा है कंपनी का, तो वो जस्टिफाइड है. और एक भूखा आदमी है और वो खाना चुरा रहा है होटल से और होटल का नुकसान कर रहा है, तो वो जस्टिफाइड नहीं है. बड़े हिपोक्रेट लोग हो यार आप. अच्छा, गरीब आदमी की नेसेसिटी नॉट नेसेसिटी. अब कैप्टन की जान बचाने की नेसेसिटी इज अ नेसेसिटी. वाह भाई वाह. स्टारवेशन से ये नहीं मर जाएगा अगर ये चोरी नहीं करेगा तो? ये भी तो नेसेसिटी है भाई. बिल्कुल सही है ये. एक्ट ऑफ टूरिस्ट किलिंग अ टाइगर व्हेन इट वाज अटैकिंग अ विलेजर इज जस्टिफाइड. ये भी जस्टिफाइड है. तीनों केसेस में देयर इज नेसेसिटी. इज एक्टिंग आउट ऑफ पॉवर्टी एंड स्टारवेशन ना भाई. अब ये मत बोलना कि वो क्या कहते हैं, जॉब भी तो ढूंढ सकता है या फिर वो कुछ काम धंधा करके पैसे भी कमा सकता है. जस्ट स्टिक टू द फैक्ट्स. फैक्ट्स इज पॉवर्टी एंड स्टारवेशन कैन लीड टू अ नेसेसिटी व्हिच इज स्टीलिंग द फूड. तो वाह, वही बात है. अब हो सकता है वो आज ही मर जाता, अगर आज वो खाना ना खाता, तो फिर वो नेसेसिटी है ना। हाउ आर यू अज्यूमिंग कि दिस वुड नॉट बी अ नेसेसिटी? Amrita is saying, do you have a dog? Currently, I don't because I'm living in Delhi. I'm not in my hometown. But huh, my cousins have dogs, and I also had a dog back at home. And I just like dogs in general भी. चलो, he can do a, हाँ मुझे पता था ये आर्ग्यूमेंट आएगा, he can get a job or earn money to buy food. Can you get a job immediately? आज ही आपको भूख लग रही है, आप 10 दिन से भूखे हो और आप मर जाओगे, तो आज जाओगे रात को 9 बजे इंटरव्यू देने? कैसे मिलेगी जॉब? आई मीन, इट्स अजम्पशंस राइट। बेगिंग कर सकता है, जॉब कर सकता है, बिजनेस कर सकता है। नेसेसिटी पे देखना है बस कि उसकी नेसेसिटी है कि वो भूखा है, वो मर जाएगा, तो उसने खाना चुरा लिया, तो ठीक है, नेसेसिटी है, सही है। ऑल द कंक्लूजन आर फॉलोइंग। ऑप्शन नंबर 4। क्वेश्चन नंबर 43। विवान इज सेइंग लाइक बेगिंग। नहीं मिली भीख फिर इज नॉट अ स्किल्ड बेगर, फिर उसके बाद मान लो कि नेसेसिटी है, कि अगर भीख मांग के भी पैसे नहीं मिल रहे हैं तो। ऐसे तो आप पॉसिबल ऑप्शंस तो फिर कैप्टन वाले केस में भी कह सकते हो ना, कि कैप्टन को दूसरा शिप बुलाना चाहिए, उसमें कार्गो ट्रांसफर करना चाहिए, वगैरह वगैरह। लेट्स गो गोविंद सर, थैंक्स फॉर योर सपोर्ट। चलो सही है। सी आई सिंह, दूसरा शिप कहाँ से? फीस इन द मिडल ऑफ ओशन। हाँ ठीक है, शिप नहीं आएगा, हेलीकॉप्टर तो आ सकता है दूसरा, कुछ तो आ सकता है। ये प्रॉब्लम है कि दूसरा शिप कहाँ से आएगा, ये प्रॉब्लम नहीं है कि भिखारी के पास रात को अगर भूखा मर रहा है तो जॉब कहाँ से आएगी, वो प्रॉब्लम नहीं दिखती है। क्या बात है, लवली। चलो, ओके। People are saying option number 1 and option number 3 for this one. So let's check this out. Justice delayed is justice denied. Justice hurried is justice buried. More than 3 crore cases are pending in the Indian courts. People are not getting justice in India. Uh, can we make this conclusion? Okay. Disposal of cases by fast track courts results in injustice. Not really. Cannot make that assumption. Cases must be disposed of within a reasonable time. सिर्फ यही वैलिड कंक्लूजन लग रहा है। पीपल माइट बी गेटिंग जस्टिस, मे बी स्लो है, जो सारी चीजें हैं कि डिले हो रहा है या हरी हो रहा है या इतने सारे केस पेंडिंग है, इसका मतलब ये नहीं है कि जस्टिस मिल ही नहीं रहा है। दिस इज टू एक्सट्रीम ऑफ अ कंक्लूजन टू मेक। ओनली ऑप्शन 3 वुड बी करेक्ट, दैट वुड मेक इट थर्ड वाला। ठीक है, फार फेस्ड है एग्जैक्टली। समर्थ सेइंग वी ग्रू अप इन इंडिया वाचिंग बॉलीवुड, नॉट आवर फॉल्ट। थोड़ा सा इंडियन बायस को साइड रख के सॉल्व करने पड़ेंगे क्वेश्चंस। चलो, लेट्स डू द नेक्स्ट वन। क्वेश्चन नंबर 44। दिस इज सिंपल राइट। यस रुजुला, ये वही प्रिंसिपल है, नेमो जुडिस नॉन क्यूजिट लेक्स वाला। हम्म, Most of you are saying 3, which is the correct answer. Since B is the employer of A, B should not be conducting the inquiry on the basis of the given principle. That is, no person shall be a judge in this own cause. अब उसी का cause है कि उसके घर चोरी हुई है या उसकी गाड़ी चोरी हुई है and वही judge कर रहा है तो violates the principle. So option 3 becomes the closest one. B is saying as B is the bank manager and not a judge, this principle is inapplicable. ये तो baseless है. Bank premises, competent person to incur, also baseless. Only if theft committed was in relation to car, नहीं ऐसा कुछ नहीं लिखा है प्रिंसिपल में. Option number 3 is the most appropriate answer. Let's do question number 45. How many of these legal maxims should be known? There are so many. मेजर वाले आपको पता होने चाहिए जो आपके प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ नेचुरल जस्टिस हैं, जैसे ऑडी अल्ट्रम पार्टम हो गया, नेमो क्यूजेट वाला हो गया, फिर और कौन से होते हैं मैं अभी दिखा दूंगा आपको, लिस्ट कोई सी खोल लेता हूं मैं एंड विल डू लीगल प्रिंसिपल्स कर लेंगे हम 10 मिनट बाद. ठीक है, नॉट प्रिंसिपल्स, आई मीन लीगल मैक्सिम्स कर लेंगे. Okay, most of you are saying option number 3, justice should not only be done but also seen to be done. Lel, an honest lawyer, had 200 shares in company X. Later, L was elevated to High Court as a judge and had to deal with the company matters. A dispute between company X and its creditors came before L for decision. L, as an honest person, will definitely judge the matter on merits only, so principle cannot apply. Wrong. Judge cannot excuse himself from taking up a case posted before him by court registry. Wrong. L should refrain from hearing the matter as he holds share of the company X. Seems about right. Since L has only 200 shares and he has no substantial interest in the company, hence can decide the matter. Wrong. जितना भी शेयर हो, चाहे एक शेयर हो, he is involved with the company in some manner and this can influence the process of justice. So justice सिर्फ होना नहीं चाहिए, दिखना भी चाहिए. So इस वजह से फर्स्ट वाला गलत हो गया कि अगर वो मेरिट्स पे भी करेगा तब भी लोगों को दिखेगा कि देयर माइट बी अ बायस. सो 1 कैनॉट बी ट्रू, 2 कैनॉट बी ट्रू क्योंकि ये तो इररिलेवेंट है कोर्ट रजिस्ट्री वाला, एंड ये number of shares is also irrelevant. Option number 3 would be the right answer. Very simple. Let's do the next one. Question 46. What would be a really good score in ALET 2025? I'll tell you at 11:30 a.m. on 13th December. Stay tuned. अच्छा, एलेट पूछ रहे हो, मुझे लगा स्लैट पूछ रहे हो. ओके ओके ओके. एलेट में तो 105 106 शुड बी अ गुड स्कोर, उसी के आसपास रहनी चाहिए कट ऑफ. आई थॉट स्लैट पूछ रहे हो आप, माय बैड. विवान इज सेइंग 150. 150 तो नहीं आएंगे किसी के. हाउ मेनी क्वेश्चंस आर वी सॉल्विंग टुडे? एज मेनी एज वी कैन टिल 6 PM. साइशा, ऐसा कुछ फिक्स लिमिट तो नहीं है? थक गए क्या आप? Are you guys tired? Answers to this question? Okay. People are saying option number 2. Let's check. A person who keeps hazardous substances in his premises is responsible for the fault if that substance escapes in any manner and causes damage. A, an industrialist stored 1,000 liters of liquid ammonia in a tank in his premises for his industrial use. There was a leakage from the tank due to which there was ammonia vapor in the surrounding. Many workers in other industries, as well as his own industry and some members of the public, suffered serious health hazards. Okay. Examine the liability of A. A may be liable for the injury sustained by his workers only and not others. A is liable as he is responsible for the injury caused by leakage. A is not liable because there is no fault on his part for the escape. No. A is not liable because he did not expect a leakage. Simply option number 2, the correct answer. Samarth, I hope the same, that they fix the keys and give marks to students who deserve those marks. Let's hope for the best. Question number 47. Let's do this. विल वी हैव अ क्लास फॉर मैथ्स एज वेल? नहीं, स्लैट के लिए तो नहीं। फ्लैट और रिलेट के लिए हो चुकी है, एंड दोज टू आर सफिशिएंट एंड इनफ टू कवर मैथ्स फॉर स्लैट। 12 क्वेश्चंस ही आते हैं, तो एक डेडिकेटेड 3 आवर्स क्लास आई थिंक दैट वुड बी टू मच। Let's solve this question very quickly. Amrita is saying tired. बस अभी ब्रेक लेते हैं. Will Salik sir conduct a marathon? I miss him. Not for Slack, but he'll be back on the channel very soon. ठीक है, चलो. In the law of evidence, a person missing for long and not heard of for over 7 years is presumed to have died. A, B, C are children of F and M. Okay, F and M, A, B, C. At the age of 20, A went out in search of a job and was not contacting the family. All attempts to trace A by the family failed. 8 years after the death of the parents, B and C entered into a partition and took equal share in the property of F and M. Oh, 1 year after this, A returned home with his wife and 2 children and claimed his share in the property. Seems like a classical 80s Bollywood movie ka plot. Whether A's claim is legally sustainable? No, he was presumed to be dead. Um, Option number one would be the right answer. Rest of them are not relevant. ओके, विल देयर बी एन ए आर की क्लास? मैं थोड़ा थोड़ा ए आर डिस्कस कर लूंगा कल की मैराथन में, बट डेडिकेटेडली स्पेसिफिकली देयर इज नो ए आर क्लास फॉर स्लैट. जो हमने ए आर एलेट के लिए करी है, दैट वुड बी रेलिवेंट फॉर स्लैट एज वेल. ठीक है, चलो. एक क्वेश्चन और करते हैं, उसके बाद वील डू मैक्सिम्स. ठीक है, लीगल मैक्सिम्स करेंगे उसके बाद. व्हाट्स द शेड्यूल फॉर स्लैट मैराथन? मैं बता देता हूँ आपको. टुडे 3 to 6 लीगल मैराथन बाय मी. Tomorrow, 3 to 6, logical reasoning plus English marathon, also by me. Then, day after tomorrow, which is Parson, would be GK marathon plus last day tips, also by me. GK marathon would be by me. Last day tips में अमितेन sir would also join me. ठीक है, so that is the schedule. आज कल और परसों स्लैट मैराथन. ओके, चलो. स्लैट के लिए तो वन मैन आर्मी बन गया हमने. All right, let's solve this one. Most of you are saying option number 4. Gift means transfer of certain existing property made voluntarily and without consideration by a donor to a donee and accepted by or on behalf of the donee during the lifetime of the donor. Okay, काफी सारे factors हैं यहाँ पे. Amit executed a gift deed for property X in favor of Suraj, who happened to be Amit's loyal servant's son. Loyal servant's son. Okay. Settled in the US. 2 months thereafter, Amit died without leaving a will regarding his assets. Amit's children initiated steps to partition his entire property, including property X, amongst themselves. At that time, Suraj came to India and learned about the gift, claimed the property X. So voluntarily दिया गया था, without consideration दिया गया था, by a donor दिया गया था, to a donee दिया गया था, accepted हुआ कि नहीं? Accept नहीं हुआ ना. It was not accepted during the lifetime of the donor. So Suraj can legally get the property as soon as he gets to know about the gift. Suraj cannot legally claim the property X because the children of Amit have already initiated steps for partition. Can claim property X because his acceptance of the gift is implicit by his conduct of claiming the property as soon as knowing about the gift. Uh, did not comply with the essential requirements of gift and hence the property including X can be partitioned. Option number 4 did not comply with the requirement. Okay, chalo. Vanshika is saying for GK, what are the main topics to focus upon besides international organizations and legal historical GK? We'll talk about that परसों. परसों की मैराथन में we'll talk about that. But हाँ, these are the important topics. उसके अलावा basics of history, geography, economics and वही सारी चीजें हैं. Basic general awareness होनी चाहिए, ठीक है? All right, chalo. Let's move on to doing some legal maxims. It's 5 p.m. We are 2 hours into the marathon. 1 hour is left. Let's spend some time decoding legal maxims. अब legal maxims मैं आपको ऐसे छोटे बच्चे की तरह याद तो नहीं कराऊंगा कि A for apple, B for ball. What we would essentially do in this exercise is we would try to correlate the meaning of certain Latin words and their English translation so that you can make a educated guess about the meaning of a particular maxim which you encounter, because trust me, it's not worth it to learn 200 plus maxims verbatim, and it's a futile exercise, to be honest. ठीक है, जरूरत नहीं है उसकी. Even most lawyers would not know legal maxims. लैटिन के मैक्सिम्स क्यों याद करने हैं हमें, ठीक है. चलो, लेट्स मी शेयर द स्क्रीन. मैंने थोड़े से अरेंज कर लिए लीगल मैक्सिम्स जल्दी से, क्लास चलते चलते में ही. But yeah, I hope you guys can see the screen, see the maxims on the screen. Love the love in the CL community. Likewise, इतना लव है आप लोगों का, मजा ही आ जाता है. लाइक कर दो इसी बात पे सेशन को, ठीक है. थोड़ा सा और लव बरसाओ इस स्ट्रीम पे एंड कमेंट्स वगैरह कर दिया करो, वो बढ़िया रहेगा. तो चलो, थोड़ा सा इसको बड़ा कर लेते हैं सो दैट यू गाइस कैन सी इट बेटर. प्लीज शेयर दिस डॉक. ये डॉक तो शेयर कर दूंगा, ये तो मैंने खुद इंटरनेट से उठाया. मुझे क्या दिक्कत है शेयर करने में. इसका मैं लिंक डाल देता हूँ, इसको ओपन डॉक कर देते हैं. रेस्ट्रिक्टेड नहीं, इसको कर देते हैं एनीवन विद द लिंक कैन व्यू दिस. एडिट नहीं करूंगा क्योंकि छिड़खानी हो जाएगी वरना इसमें. कॉपी कर लेते हैं लिंक. डन. लो, ऐश करो. Have put it in the chat box. You all can access this. चलो, let's start looking at some maxims. अब देखो, ab initio हमें void ab initio से पता है कि इसका मतलब होता है from the beginning. Initio मतलब initial beginning. Ab invito against the invitation, ठीक है, against someone's will, that is ab invito. Actus me invito factus non est mens actus. अब actus से हमें पता है, actus reus से, कि actus मतलब होता है act, ठीक है. इनवाइटो का मतलब होता है अगेंस्ट समवन्स विल एंड फैक्टस का मतलब होता है आपका विदाउट नोइंग. एंड मेंस मतलब होता है अगेन विदाउट इंटेंशन, विदाउट द विल ऑफ अ पर्सन. सो मेंस रिया से आता है वो, है ना. विल ऑफ अ पर्सन, इल विल, मेंस रिया, बैड विल. तो उस तरीके से आप इसको डिकोड कर सकते हो. एक्ट मैलम इन से, एन अनलॉफुल एक्ट इटसेल्फ रेंडर्स द एक्यूज्ड लायबल फॉर ऑल द नेचुरल कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस, ठीक है. मैलम आता है मैलोफाइड से. मैलोफाइड होता है बैड इंटेंशन, है ना. अनलॉफुल, सो उससे आप इसको इन्फर कर सकते हो. एक्टियो क्वालिबेट इट सुआ वाया. इसमें कोई कोरिलेशन मुझे नहीं समझ आ रहा है. एक्टियो का बस एक्शन से कोरिलेशन बन सकता है, सो यू कैन रिमेंबर जहाँ पे एक्टियो है वहाँ पे एक्शन बनेगा. क्वालिबेट इट सुआ वीसा वाया नहीं, नो कोरिलेशन हियर. एक्टोर इनकम्बेट ओनस प्रोबेंडी. ओनस का मतलब होता है बर्डन ऑफ प्रूफ, यानी कि किसके ऊपर जिम्मेदारी है वो चीज प्रूफ करने की. तो ओनस से आप बर्डन ऑफ प्रूफ ट्रांसलेट कर सकते हो. लाइज ऑन द प्लेंटिफ. प्लेंटिफ आई थिंक इज अ पर्सन हु इज इनकम्बेट, person who is charged with an offense, and तो यही है, burden of proof lies on the plaintiff. Affirmandi non negandi incumbent probatio. Burden of proof lies upon him who affirms. तो affirmandi से affirms आ सकता है, negandi से not upon आ सकता है, probatio से आपका burden of proof आ सकता है. इस तरीके से you would basically infer things. Actori non probandi absolvitor reus. Okay. When the plaintiff does not prove his case, the defendant is absolved. तो absolvitor से absolved आपको समझ आ जाएगा, ठीक है, सिंपल एज दैट. Actus cure nemi nem gravabit. Act of court shall prejudice new one. तो actus से act समझ आ गया. क्यूरे से आपको कोर्ट समझ आ जाना चाहिए, क्योंकि आपने एक वर्ड सुना है एमिकस क्यूरे. एमिकस क्यूरे का क्या मतलब होता है? एमिकस मतलब समवन हु इज एमिकेबल, है ना, फ्रेंड ऑफ द कोर्ट. एमिकस क्यूरे का मतलब होता है, तो क्यूरे स्टैंड्स फॉर कोर्ट. ठीक है, तो ये नोट करते जाओ. ठीक है, एक्टस मतलब एक्ट होता है, मैलम मतलब बैड इंटेंशन होता है, इनविटो मतलब अगेंस्ट विल होता है, इनिशियो मतलब बिगिनिंग होता है. ये कुछ लैटिन कीवर्ड्स फ्रेजेस हैं जो आपको पता होने चाहिए. इनसे आप एजुकेटेड गेस कर लोगे कि क्या मतलब है. ठीक है, सो यहाँ पे हमें नोट डाउन करना है कि क्यूरे अगर आया है इसका मतलब है कोर्ट. ठीक है, एक्टस क्यूरे मतलब एक्ट ऑफ कोर्ट. नेमिनम ग्रेवेबिट यानी कि किसी के अगेंस्ट प्रेजुडिस नहीं होगा. मुझे नहीं पता इन दोनों वर्ड्स का इंग्लिश ट्रांसलेशन क्या है, बट ठीक है. एक्टस लेजिस नेमिनी एस्ट डेमनोसस इंजूरियम. तो इंजूरियम मतलब हमें पता होता है इंजरी, यानी कि किसी को किसी के राइट्स नहीं हर्ट होने चाहिए. तो द एक्ट ऑफ लॉ हर्ट्स नो वन. तो एक्टस लेजिस, लेजिस ट्रांसलेट्स टू लॉ. ठीक है, लेजिस्लेचर, लेजिस्लेशन. तो लेजिस मतलब हो गया लॉ. ठीक है, नेमिन आई थिंक नो वन होता है, क्योंकि नेमिन और नेम ये वाले जो कीवर्ड्स है ना, ये नो से ज्यादा कोरिलेट करते हैं. सो नेमिन और नेमो और नेमस, ये दीज यूजुअली ट्रांसलेट टू नो, है ना. एंड एस्ट का मतलब इज होता है, लैटिन टू इंग्लिश अगर करो. एंड इंजूरियम तो हमें पता ही है. ठीक है, एक्टस नॉन फैसेट्रियम निमी मेंस सेट्रिया, ये काफी फेमस है. ये क्या हो गया? एक्ट itself does not constitute unless done with intention of guilt. ठीक है, मेंस सेट रिया, मेंस रिया हमें पता है कि गिल्टी इंटेंशन को कहते हैं. एंड नीसी अगेन मींस नॉट. एंड एक्टस नॉन फैसेट्रियम मतलब एक्ट itself does not. एक्टस रियस इज क्रिमिनल एक्ट. एड क्यूरियम, क्यूरियम हमें पता है एट कोर्ट. एड हॉक मतलब ये तो सिंपल है, पर्टिकुलर केस एट हैंड. एड इंटरिम मतलब मीन टाइम. एड ट्यूंक इन इबिडम, एट द सेम टाइम इन द सेम प्लेस. कंसेंसस एड आइडम याद है आप लोग को? तो उसी से इडम मतलब इबिडम मतलब होता है सेम तरीके में और सेम इन द सेम कॉन्टेक्स्ट, राइट. तो उससे आप समझ सकते हो कि इडम इबिडम का मतलब क्या होता है, एट द सेम टाइम सेम प्लेस. ठीक है, एडिफैक्टम सोलो, सोलो क्रेडिट बेकार है, इसको छोड़ दो. एक्विटास एस्ट एक्विलिटास. सो एक्विटी इज इक्वालिटी, ये तो कैस हो जाता है ऐसे ही. एक्विटास नॉन फैसेट जस्ट सेट ज्यूरी ऑक्सिलेटर. एक्विटास हमें समझ आ गया, इक्विटी होता है. एंड जस्ट इज लॉ, नॉन फैसेट डज नॉट मेक लॉ. सेट ज्यूरी ऑक्सिलेटर बट असिस्ट लॉ. तो ऑक्सिलेट मतलब टू असिस्ट, ज्यूरी इज अगेन लॉ, जस्ट इज ऑल्सो लॉ. सो इक्विटी डज नॉट मेक लॉ बट असिस्ट लॉ. सो ये जस्ट, ज्यूरी, ज्यूरिस, ये सारे का मतलब लॉ होता है. ठीक है, जिनमें भी ये जस्ट, ज्यूरी, ज्यूरिस टाइप के वर्ड्स आ रहे हैं, दैट ट्रांसलेट्स टू लॉ. एक्विटास नॉन क्वाम कॉन्ट्रावेनेट लेजिस. तो लेजिस हमें पता है लॉ होता है, एक्विटास हमें पता है एक्विटी होता है. कॉन्ट्रावेनेट हम समझ जाएंगे, कॉन्ट्रावीन्स है तो कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स हो जाएगा. सो दिस वाज आल्सो समथिंग वी कैन गेस. एक्विटास हमें पता है, लेजेम हमें पता है, लेज, और ये जो जितने भी आपके लेजेस, लेजेम, लीगम, ये सारे लॉ होता है इनका मतलब. तो सेक्विटार इक्विटी, इक्विटी फॉलोज द लॉ. एग्रीशियो मेंटियम, मेंटी मतलब इज समथिंग रिलेटेड टू द ब्रेन, मीटिंग ऑफ द माइंड्स. एग्रीगेशन है ना, कमिंग टुगेदर ऑफ द माइंड्स is when the contract is complete. Essentio mentio, meeting of the minds during mutual consent. तो essentio translates to assent, है ना, consent. Alias तो हमें पता है, ये second name of a person known by one or more name. Amicus curiae जो मैं आपको बता रहा था, friend of the court. Curiae is court, amicus is a friend, amicable person. Arguendo in the course of argument. Arma in armatos sumere jura sinant. अरे बाप रे. तो ज्यूरा तो हो गया लॉ. एंड सिनेंट का मुझे नहीं पता क्या मतलब होता है. आर्मा इन आर्माटॉस, तो आर्म, आर्म से हम कुछ आर्म से तो कोरिलेट कर लेते हैं इसको, एंड मोर और लेस गेस कर लेते हैं. ऑडियर एट अल्ट्रा पार्स. तो ऑडी अल्ट्रम पार्टम हमें पता है कि हियर द अदर साइड, इसका भी यही मतलब होता है, हियर द अदर साइड. ऑडियर एट अल्ट्रा, अल्ट्रा मतलब ऑल्टरनेट है ना, दूसरी वाली साइड. एंड ऑडियर मतलब सुनो, ऑडियो से आपको पता ही है वो ऑडियर बना है, मतलब हियर द अदर साइड. ठीक है, Augusta legibus soluta non est. Even the queen is not exempt from subjection of laws. तो legibus हो गया law, and Augusta I think correlates to the queen, and soluta मतलब not absolved. Soluta non मतलब not exempted from the laws of the country. Autre fois acquit. Previous acquittal by competent court is bar for the same offense. Okay. ठीक है, तो ए के हमने कंप्लीट कर लिया फ्रॉम द लेटर ए। बी बोनाफाइड, गुड फेथ, बोना जेस्चुरा, गुड बिहेव। बोना मतलब गुड होता है, ठीक है, तो बोना से जितने भी हैं वो गुड हो जाएंगे। वेकेंशिया इज समथिंग विच डज नॉट हैव एन ओनर, लॉस्ट प्रॉपर्टी। बोना जुडिशियस एस्ट कॉजेस लिटियम डिरिमेर, ड्यूटी ऑफ अ गुड जज टू रिमूव द कॉजेज ऑफ लिटिगेशन। सो जुडिशियस से आपका बनेगा जज, बोना से बनेगा गुड जज, एंड कॉजा लिटियम से बनेगा कॉज ऑफ लिटिगेशन, एंड डेरीमेर से बनेगा ड्यूटी। तो इस तरीके से आपको कोरिलेशंस बनाने कि कौन से वर्ड का क्या मीनिंग इंग्लिश ट्रांसलेशन हो सकता है, ठीक है। बोनम वेकेंस मतलब प्रॉपर्टी विदाउट एन ओनर, वेकेंट प्रॉपर्टी। बोनी जुडिस एस जुडिशियम साइन डायलेंशना मैंडेरेर एक्सिक्यूशनई, समझ गए आप कैसे करना है इसको। कॉजा मोटिस, मोटिस का मतलब होता है डेथ, मॉर्टल इमॉर्टल उससे बना है वर्ड डेथ, है ना। कॉजा सिंपली जहां भी कॉजा दिखे मतलब कॉज, ठीक है। तो ये दोनों लिख लो, कॉजा मतलब कॉज, mortis मतलब डेथ। टर्पिस मतलब समथिंग विच हैज गॉन बैड, टर्पिड मतलब बैड एंड टर्पिड टाइप का होता है। तो टर्पिस मतलब बैड कंसिडरेशन, इलीगल कंसिडरेशन। कैवियाट हमें पता ही है, वार्निंग। कैवियाट एम्प्टर, लेट द बायर बीवेयर। कैवियाट वाइटर, लेट द ट्रैवलर बीवेयर। तो कैवियाट मतलब होता है बीवेयर ऑफ समथिंग, है ना। कैवियाट एम्प्टर भी हो सकता है, कैवियाट वाइटर भी हो सकता है। सर्शियरी रिट है, ये हमें पता ही है। सर्शियरिफाइड मैंडमस, मर्जर ऑफ टू रिट, सर्शियरी एंड मैंडमस, ये तो इजी है। कॉन्ट्राजूस, अब कॉन्ट्रा इज एन इंपॉर्टेंट कीवर्ड इन लैटिन विच मींस अगेंस्ट, ठीक है, कॉन्ट्ररी, अगेंस्ट। सिंपल इंग्लिश, इंग्लिश से आप काफी कोरिलेशंस यहाँ पे बिठा सकते हो अगर आपको पता है वर्ड रूट्स, है ना। तो कॉन्ट्रा इज अगेंस्ट, कॉन्ट्रा लीजम इज अगेंस्ट द लॉ ऑफ लैंड, कॉन्ट्रा नॉन जस्टिस मतलब विदाउट जुरिस्डिक्शन, ओ सॉरी दिस इज कोरम, कोरम नॉन जुडिस, विदाउट जुरिस्डिक्शन। कॉर्पस कलेक्शन, ठीक है, ये तो हमें पता ही है। कॉर्पस डेलिक्टी, बॉडी सब्सटेंस और फाउंडेशन ऑफ एन ऑफेंस, ओके। So delicti translates to body. Cujus est commodum aegis est onus. तो ओनस हमें पता है बर्डन ऑफ प्रूफ होता है, एंड कोमोडम मतलब जिसको बेनिफिट मिला है किसी कमोडिटी का, तो जिसको बेनिफिट मिला है उसी को बर्डन जाएगा। द पर्सन हु हैज द कमोडिटी हैज द ओनस। Cojus es commodum, aegis debit esse incommodum. Who is the advantage? His also should be the disadvantage. तो अगर commodum मतलब advantage या benefit है, तो incommodum मतलब उसका opposite disadvantage होगा, right? So this is how it translates. Culpa lata, culpa मतलब होता है culpability and putting the guilt on someone, punishability of someone, culpable. तो culpa lata से यह है gross negligence. अब आ गए D पे, डैमनी इंजूरिया एक्टिव। अब डैमनिया का हमें पता है डैमेज, इंजूरिया का हमें पता है इंजरी, एंड एक्टिव हमें पता है एक्शन, एक्शन अगेंस्ट वन फॉर इंटेंशनल इंजरी, ठीक है। डैमनम साइम इंजूरिया हमें पता है डैमेज विदाउट इंजरी। डी डोमो रिपरेंडा, अब रिपरेंडा से हमें पता है कि रिपेयर से रिलेटेड कुछ लग रहा है ये, तो रिट टू कंपेल अ मैन टू रिपेयर हिज हाउस व्हेन डेंजरस टू द नेबर्स। अब डोमो, डोमो रिलेट्स टू हाउस, ठीक है, डोम समझते हैं आप लोग, डोम इज हाउस, ठीक है। डी फैक्टो डॉक्ट्रिन, डी फैक्टो मतलब एज अ मैटर ऑफ फैक्ट, डॉक्ट्रिन ऑफ नेसेसिटी। डी ज्योर का मतलब होता है बाय लॉ, डी फैक्टो मतलब होता है बाय अ फैक्ट। डी मिनिमस नॉन क्यूरेट लेक्स, यानी कि लॉ डज नॉट टेक अकाउंट ऑफ ट्राइफल्स, यानी कि मिनिमम चीजें, बहुत छोटे ऑफेंस। नॉन क्यूरेट लेक्स यानी कि लॉ उनको क्योर नहीं करता है, लॉ उनको एड्रेस नहीं करता है। डी नोवो, नोवो मतलब नोवेशन, नया, नॉवल उससे आया है नोवो, फ्रॉम द बिगिनिंग। डी प्लासिटो मतलब ऑलरेडी इन एक्शन। डी टेम्पोर इन टेम्पस, फ्रॉम टाइम टू टाइम इन ऑल टाइम्स। डेबिट इसे फिनस लिटम, there ought to be an end of lawsuits. So finis मतलब finite, infinis मतलब infinite, litum मतलब lawsuits. Debit quis juris subjuris, जब subjusier you be delinquent, everyone ought to be subject to the law of the place where he offends, okay. So subjusier से बन रहा है subject, delinquent से बन रहा है offense, and juris से बन रहा है law. Decipi quam follower est tutus, safer to be deceived than to deceive, ये बेकार है, इसको छोड़ दो। डिक्टम स्टेटमेंट ऑफ लॉ मेड बाय जज, डाइस अ क्यूओ, डे फ्रॉम विच, ओके। तो क्यूओ यूजुअली यूज होता है आपके ये विच, वाई, हाउ वाले वर्ड्स के लिए। क्वो वरेंटो, बाय व्हाट अथॉरिटी, उसी तरीके से डाइज अ क्यूओ, द डे फ्रॉम, डाइज इज द वर्ड विच कोरिलेट्स टू डे, है ना, इसलिए कहते हैं कार्पे डीएम, तो सीज द डे, उस तरीके से बना है ये। डीएस अक्वम, द डे टू विच। ds jurisdictions, court day. ds due son act, act of god, ठीक है। तो dues हो गया आपका एक्ट, और एक्ट हो गया एक्ट, एंड सॉन हो गया गॉड। डोली इनकैपेक्स मतलब इनकेपेबल ऑफ डूइंग अ क्राइम, डोली यूजुअली कोरिलेट्स टू अ क्राइम, ठीक है। Dolus octorus non nocent successory. The fraud of a predecessor does not prejudice his successor. तो successory से successor तो आप समझ ही जाते, and dolus से crime समझ जाते, तो ये easy है. Donation vileta, hidden gift. तो donation gift, this is easy to correlate. Vileta is translated to hidden. आप लोगों ने वर्ड सुना होगा व्हील, है ना? व्हील किस लिए यूज होता है? टू हाइड. सो विलेटा कम्स फ्रॉम दैट, मतलब व्हील कम्स फ्रॉम विलेटा. ठीक है, तो इस तरीके से इंग्लिश वर्ड्स हैं सारे लैटिन वर्ड्स के. यू जस्ट नीड टू अप्लाई अ लिटिल बिट ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग ऑफ वोकैबुलरी. डॉर्मिएंट, एलिक्वेंडो, लीजियस, नॉन क्वाम, मोरेंटुअर. लॉ समटाइम्स स्लीप बट नेवर डाइज. अब देखो डॉर्मेंट का मतलब क्या होता है? समवन हु स्लीपिंग. डॉर्मेंट वोल्केनोस आपने सुना होगा, है ना? डॉर्मेंट पार्टनर आपने सुना होगा. तो डॉर्मेंट मतलब जो सोता है. एलिक्वेंडो, लेजियस. Leges is related to law. Non-quam morintuor. Morin, again, this is related to mortality. Morintuor, which is related to die. So this you can easily guess. Droit, ne don, pluis, que, suat, demanded. Justice gives no more than is demanded. To demanded से demand तो बना ही लेते हैं आप. This is simple. Doti lex favet premium pudoris est ideo parcetor. इतने टफ नहीं आते हैं क्लैट में. Law favors dower. It is the reward of chastity, therefore it has to be preserved. ये तो मैं भी पहली बार सुन रहा हूँ. Error कोई non resistor approbator. तो resistor से बन जाएगा resisted, approbator से बन जाएगा approved. Error तो error है ही. Erubicet, lex filios, castigaire parentes. Law blushes when children correct their parents. Parents. Lex, law. Filios मतलब आपका बच्चों से correlated होता है. Filios. Erubicet से ब्लशेस बनेगा आई थिंक. ठीक है. एक्स एडवर्सो. एडवर्सो कौन होता है? एडवर्सरी, दुश्मन, यानी सामने वाली पार्टी ऑन द अदर साइड. ठीक है. एक्स फैक्टो जस्ट ऑरिटर. लॉ डिपेंड्स इन द फैक्ट. ठीक है. फैक्टो से आ गया फैक्ट, जस्ट से आ गया लॉ, ऑरिटर मतलब जो बोला गया. एक्सेप्शियो नला एस्ट वर्सेस एक्शनम क्वा. एक्सेप्शनम पेरिमेट. देयर इज नो प्ली अगेंस्ट एन एक्शन व्हिच डिस्ट्रॉयज द सब्जेक्ट और मैटर ऑफ द प्ली. I think this can also be derived from its English translation. Exceptio मतलब exception होता है. Exceptio qua format, legem, exponent, legem, conforms, come from format, and legem translates to law. ठीक है. Exponent must मतलब expounds. So experiential, docet, experience teaches, extrajudicium out of the court, extra jus beyond the law, ex testamento by will. तो आई थिंक आप लोग समझ गए. मैं जल्दी जल्दी चलता हूँ, थोड़ा सा देख लेता हूँ कौन से कीवर्ड्स नए हैं जो आपको पता होने चाहिए. फैक्टम कोरिलेट्स टू फैक्ट. ठीक है, उसके अराउंड ये सारे बने हुए हैं. वर्बिस ट्रांसलेट्स टू वर्ड्स. ठीक है, वर्बल, वर्बोरा, वर्बिस, ऑल दीज मीन्स वर्ड्स. ठीक है. पोटेंशियोरा मतलब ज्यादा पोटेंशियल है, ज्यादा पावर है, पावरफुल. ओके, और क्या है? यूनी या यूनुएस या उनो, इस टाइप के वर्ड्स यूज होते हैं. दैट मींस वन. ठीक है. यूनो, यूनुएस, ये ट्रांसलेट्स टू वन. ओके, व्हाट एल्स इज देयर? जुडिशियम ट्रांसलेट्स टू जजमेंट. ठीक है, दिस इज सिंपल. फ्यूजिट ट्रांसलेट्स टू फ्यूजिटिव, समवन हु रन्स अवे. दिस कम्स फ्रॉम फ्यूजिटिव. Fiat is a degree. Fiat justitia, let justice be done. Forum actus, forum contentiosum. Fros et just, non-quam cohabitant. Okay, so cohabitant means dwelling together. Non-quam matlab never. Fros et just matlab, fros is essentially fraud and just is justice. Frustra, orbiter, chord, probentium, not relevant. Okay. Generalis, regular, generalitar, intelligenda. इंटेलिजेंडा जहां भी यूज हो, इंटेलिजेंटम जहां भी यूज हो, मतलब अंडरस्टैंडिंग. ठीक है, इंटेलिजेंस. जनरलिस रेगुलर मतलब जनरल रूल्स. जनरलिटार एस्ट मतलब जनरली अंडरस्टूड. ठीक है, सिंपल है ये तो. ग्रामेटिका फॉल्स ऑन नॉन विटिएट चार्टम. बैड ग्रामर, फॉल्स ग्रामर डज नॉट विटिएट अ डीड. डीड मतलब चार्टम, चार्टम मतलब चार्टर. सिंपल एज दैट. ठीक है. एच पे चलते हैं. एच में हेरिस जहां भी लिखा हो वहां उसका मतलब है एन एयर. एयर मतलब जो वारिस जिसको कहते हैं हम हिंदी में. ठीक है. इंटेस्टेटो मतलब इंटेस्टेट. फैक्टो हमें पता ही है. एंड ऐसे मतलब होता है सोल, इकलौता. ठीक है. नॉन कॉम असेंडेड, असेंडेड से असेंड्स बना लोगे आप. एडेस्ट, एडेस्ट का मतलब होता है दैट इज, जो हम फुल फॉर्म भी यूज करते हैं. एबिडेम, एबेड, एड का मतलब होता है सेम प्लेस, वॉल्यूम और केस. ये हमें पता ही है. आइडम, एड मतलब ऑफ द सेम माइंड, मीटिंग ऑफ द माइंड. कंसेंसस, एड आइडम आपने सुना होगा. आइडियो मतलब होता है देयरफॉर. ओके 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 ओके. इग्नोरेंशिया फैसिट एक्सक्यूजाट, इग्नोरेंशिया ज्यूरिस नॉन एक्सक्यूजाट, ये वाला इंपॉर्टेंट है, काफी बार पूछा जाता है। इग्नोरेंस ऑफ फैक्ट में बी एक्सक्यूज, इग्नोरेंस ऑफ लॉ कैन नॉट बी एक्सक्यूज। इग्नोरेंशिया से इग्नोरेंस आ जाएगा। फैसिट मींस फैक्ट्स, एक्सक्यूजेट मींस कैन बी एक्सक्यूज, ज्यूरिस लेजिस आपको पता ही है लॉ होता है, ठीक है। Ignorantia juris sui non prejudicat jurae. Ignorance of one's right does not prejudice the right. Simple है। Ignorantia presumitar ubi scientia non prejuditar। तो presumitar से आपको समझ आ गया presumption है ये। एंड scientia मतलब होता है knowledge, ठीक है, साइंस सिंपल इसका वर्ड है। एंड probatar मतलब prove, ठीक है। In articulo mortis, mortis मतलब dying, statement made by a man in articulo mortis is a dying declaration। articulation, articulo mortis dying, ठीक है। In atrocioribus delictus punitor effectus licet non sequitur effectus। तो एट्रोसिबियस हो गया एट्रोशियस, डेलिक्टस हो गया क्राइम, प्यूनिटर हो गया पनिशमेंट, अफेक्टस हो गया इफेक्ट, लिसिट नॉन सेक्यूटर इफेक्टस हो गया डज नॉट फॉलो। इन ऑटर ड्रॉइट इन अनदर्स राइट, ऑटर मतलब होता है अनदर, ड्रॉइट मतलब हो गया राइट। क्यूजस रे टेस्टिमोनियम इन विटनेस, तो टेस्टिमोनियम हो गया विटनेस। इन क्यूरिया हो गया इन ओपन कोर्ट, क्यूरिया हमें पता ही है कोर्ट होता है। इन कस्टोडिया लीजियस हो गया लीगल कस्टडी, डेलिक्टो हो गया डिफॉल्ट, डीएम हो गया फॉर अ डे, एग्जिट हो गया एन इशू, फैक्ट हो गया फैक्ट। सिंपल है, बहुत सारे हैं यार ये तो। कितना लंबा है, चूंकि ज्यादा लंबा नहीं है आगे। हाँ, पहुंचने वाले हम एंड तक। इनग्रीमो एलिजिस हो गया प्रोटेक्शन ऑफ लॉ, इनिशियम पता है बिगिनिंग, एक्सरसाइज हमें पता है, जुडिशियो हमें पता है, लिटिम हमें पता है, लोको, लोको इज सिंपल, लोको मतलब होता है प्लेस, लोकोमोटिव, लोकोमोशन, उससे आपको समझ आ जाएगा। मैक्सिमा पोटेंशिया मिनिमा लाइसेंशिया, मैक्सिमम पोटेंशिया मतलब पोटेंशिया मैंने आपको बताया था इस पावर, मैक्सिमम इज ग्रेटेस्ट, मिनिमम इज लीस्ट एंड लाइसेंशिया इज लिबर्टी, ठीक है। तो लाइसेंशिया याद रख सकते हो, लिबर्टी होता है। इन मेमोरियम इज सिंपल, इन मोरा मीन्स डिफॉल्ट, इन पाई मीन्स आउट ऑफ द कोर्ट, ये याद रखना इंपॉर्टेंट है। इन पर्सन पर्सनली, पर्सोनम इज अगेंस्ट अ पर्सन, पोस्टरम मतलब फ्यूचर, प्रेजेंट इज प्रेजेंट, प्राइमस इज इन द फर्स्ट प्लेस, इन स्टेटस क्वो मतलब सेम स्टेट। इन टोटो मीन्स टोटालिटी, इनकॉग्निटो तो आप लोगों से बेहतर कौन ही जानता होगा। इनिशियलिया टेस्टिमोनाई, प्रिलिमिनरी एग्जामिनेशन ऑफ अ विटनेस, इनिशियलिया मतलब प्रिलिमिनरी, टेस्टिमोनाई हो गया एग्जाम विटनेस। इंजूरिया इज टॉर्शियस एक्ट, इंजूरिया नॉन क्यूजेट इंजूरिया, रॉन्ग डज नॉट एक्सक्यूज रॉन्ग, ठीक है। इंजूरिया सर्वी डोमिनम पर्टिनेट, मास्टर इज लायबल फॉर इंजरी डन बाय सर्वेंट्स, इंपॉर्टेंट है ये, वाइकेरियस लायबिलिटी का प्रिंसिपल है। इंजूरिया साइन डैमनम, डैमनम साइन इंजूरिया, ये सारे दोनों इंपॉर्टेंट है। इंटर एलिया मीन्स अमंग अदर थिंग्स, विवोस इज रिलेटेड टू लाइफ, है ना, विवांट बॉर्न विवांट हम कहते हैं, एंड वाइवेशियस हम कहते हैं समवन हु इज लाइवली, सो विवोस मतलब होता है लाइफ, तो इंटर विवोस हो गया बिटवीन लिविंग पर्सन्स, ठीक है। इंटरम हो गया मीनवाइल, इन द मीन टाइम, इंट्रा वायर्स हो गया विद इन द पावर्स, अल्ट्रा वायर्स इसका उल्टा हो जाता है बियॉन्ड द पावर्स। इप्से डिक्सिट हो गया ही सेड इट हिमसेल्फ, इप्से फैक्टो हो गया बाय द फैक्ट इटसेल्फ, इप्सो ज्यूर हो गया बाय द लॉ इटसेल्फ। जे पे आ जाते हैं, जुडेक्स एड क्यूएम, जुडेक्स इज सिंपली ट्रांसलेटिंग टू जज, एड क्यूएम मतलब अपील हुई है। जुडिकैंडम इज अगेन जजमेंट, लेजिबस इज लॉ, नॉन एग्जाम्पलिस, जजमेंट इज टू बी गिवन अकॉर्डिंग टू द लॉ नॉट अकॉर्डिंग टू एग्जाम्पल्स, ठीक है। Judgment is law, not example. Simple इसका translation. Judice is posterioribus, fides est abibenda. Credit is to be given to the later decision. ये थोड़ा सा टफ है, बट posterior हमने ऊपर पढ़ा था, later के लिए होता है ना, तो उससे आप समझ जाते हैं कि later decisions है। Judicious से आप समझ जाते हैं कि judgments और decisions की बात करी हुई है। Fides मतलब fide good faith में usually दिया जाता है, and abibenda is credit, ठीक है। Judicum capital, capital judgment. Jura nature according to the nature law of nature, just civitatis right of citizenship, just usually translates to rights, ठीक है। just लिख लो, just is important, just translates to right। just in re alienea, right of a person in the property of others, alienea मतलब दूसरे की property, alienated property, right। just legitim legal right, justitia nec differenda nec neganda, justice is not denied or delayed, ठीक है। differenda मतलब deny, sorry neganda मतलब deny and differenda मतलब delayed। डेफर करने को कहते हैं ना, डेफर, समथिंग इज डेफर्ड फॉर लेटर, दैट इज डिफरेंडा। जस्टिशिया प्रीपोंडरस, स्पीडी जस्टिस, ओके। लेक्स फोराई, लॉ ऑफ द फॉर्म ऑफ द कोड, लेक्स लोकाई, लॉ ऑफ द प्लेस, लॉ ऑफ द लैंड कहते हैं इसको कई बार। लेक्स लोकाई डेलिक्टस, डेलिक्टस, डेलिक्टाई डेलिक्टस, लॉ ऑफ द प्लेस वेयर द क्राइम टुक प्लेस। डेलिक्टा हमें पता है क्राइम होता है, लोकाई हमें पता है प्लेस होता है, ठीक है। फोराई इज फोरम। लेक्स विजिलिट, विजिलिट, अरे बाप रे, विजिली vigilantibus, non-dormentibus, subvenet. Loss is the wakeful. Wakeful आया है vigilant से, ठीक है, vigilantibus से. Not the sleeping. Sleeping आया है dormant से, simple है. Less pendency हमें पता है, pendant suit. Magus, jus, nostrum, quam, jus, elinum, servimus. We should follow our own law rather than a foreign law. तो alien से आया है foreign, servimus मतलब से आया है, just से आया है law, and serve मतलब follow, and nostrum मतलब we should not follow दूसरे का land, we should follow हमारा law of the land, ठीक है. मैलाफाइड हमें पता है बैड फेथ, मेंस या गिल्टी माइंड हमें पता है. मिनिएटर इनोसेंटिबस, क्योर परसेट नॉनसेंटिबस, ही थ्रेटन्स द इनोसेंट हु स्पेयर्स द गिल्टी. तो इनोसेंटिबस से आप समझ जाओगे इनोसेंट है, नो सेंटिबस से मतलब है नॉट इनोसेंट यानी कि गिल्टी है, ठीक है. मोडस ऑपरेंडी, मैनर ऑफ ऑपरेटिंग. मोडस विवेंडी, विवेंडी मैंने आपको बताया था लाइफ होता है, विव वाला मैनर ऑफ लिविंग. मोनुमेंटा, क्वा, नॉस, रिकॉर्डा, वोकैमस, सोंट, विरटाटिस, एट, वेटोस्टैटिस, वेस्टिजिया. Monuments where we call records are the vestiges of truth and antiquity. तो veritatis से बनता है truth, and आपका monumenta से बन जाएगा monuments, and recorda से बन जाएगा records. This is simple to guess. Ni exeat, a writ prohibiting a person from leaving the place, यानी कि आप exit नहीं कर सकते. Ni quar, litium, cum, licit, figure, seek not a lawsuit when you escape it. Okay, litum translates to lawsuit, ये हमें पता है. Necessitas est lex temporis est loci. Necessity the law of time and place, ठीक है. तो ये अभी हमने देखा था एक लीगल प्रिंसिपल. लेक्स हमें पता है लॉ होता है, टेम्पोरस हमें पता है टाइम होता है, लोकाई हमें पता है प्लेस होता है. तो ये देखो, लोकाई हमने पढ़ लिया, लेक्स हमने पढ़ लिया, नेसेसिटस हमें पता है, तो क्या हम ये नहीं गेस कर सकते? बिल्कुल गेस कर सकते हैं. नेमिनेम लेड इट क्वी ज्योर सुओ उटिटोर. ही स्टैंड्स ऑन हिज ओन राइट्स इंजर्स नो वन, ठीक है. तो ज्योर इज राइट्स, ये हमने पढ़ लिया है. सुओ मतलब अपनी, यूटिटर मतलब यूटिलिटी, नेमिनम एज स्टैंडिंग द ग्राउंड, आई एम गेसिंग. नेमो बेस, प्यूनेटर, वेक्सेटर, प्रो, इडम, नेमो डेविस, ठीक है. नो मैन इज पनिश्ड ट्वाइस फॉर द सेम ऑफेंस. ये इंपॉर्टेंट लीगल प्रिंसिपल है, ये अभी हमने देखा था. नेमो बेस, प्यूनेटर, वेक्सेटर, प्रो, इडम, ये मैंने आपको बताया ही था, ठीक है. नेमो जुडिस इन कॉजा सुआ, नो वन कैन बी अ जज ऑन हिज ओन कॉज. जुडिस हमें पता है जज, नेमो मतलब नो, कॉजा मतलब कॉज, सुआ मतलब ओन. नो मेंजोरस, नेम ऑफ द लॉ. नॉन एस्ट, नेवर एग्जिस्टिंग. कितने रह गए भाई? ठीक है, ज्यादा नहीं रह गए. हम कहाँ थे? एन पे थे ना, ओ पे आ गए. ओनस प्रोपेंडी, बर्डन ऑफ प्रूफ. ओनस हमें पता ही है. ओबिटर डिक्टम, ये मैंने आपको कल परसों में बताया था कि समथिंग विच अ जज सेज विच इज नॉट बाइंडिंग. रेशियो डेसिडेंडी वर्सेस ओबिटर डिक्टम. ओमने, निमिनियम, निमियम, वेरिटेटर, इन विटियम. वोल्डेमॉर्ट, हैरी पॉटर वाली फील आती है ये पढ़ते हुए मुझे, कि स्पेल्स जैसे लगते हैं हैरी पॉटर के ये. एवरी एक्सेस बिकम्स अ वाइस, ठीक है. तो वेरिटेटर होता है आपका समथिंग विच इज गुड, विटियम होता है समथिंग विच इज बैड, ओमने मतलब that is the translation. Optima statutae interpretatics est ipsum statum. Best interpreter of statute, statutum से बना है, is the statute itself, ठीक है. statute यहाँ भी है, statute यहाँ पे भी है, तो समझ जाओगे आप ये interpretatics से भी. Plurus candom rem in solidum possidere non possent. Two person cannot be in possession of same thing at the same time. Possidere and possessant से बना है possession. एंड रैम मतलब होता है इन पोजेशन. राइट इन रैम आपने सुना होगा, राइट अगेंस्ट द वर्ल्ड. प्लस वैलिड उनस ऑक्यूलाटस टेस्टिस क्वाम ऑरिटी डेसेम. वन आइट विटनेस इज मोर देन 10 हियर से विटनेस. ओके, सो उनस, उन जहां भी दिखे वो 1 है, एंड टेस्टिस इज 10, नहीं डेसेम इज 10, सॉरी, डेका गॉन होता है आपका, डेस इज 10. एंड ठीक है, ऑरिटे मतलब हो गया सुनना, ऑडियो से बना है ये, हियर से बना है ये. एंड ऑक्यूलेटस हो गया समवन हु वॉचेस, ठीक है. ऑक्यूल इज रिलेटेड टू वॉचिंग, राइट. सो दैट इज आई विटनेस. प्रो बोनो पब्लिको, फॉर द बेनिफिट ऑफ पब्लिक. पर इडियम, बाय द डे. पर से, बाय इटसेल्फ. पर कॉजा, विद इक्वल राइट. क्वासी जुडिशियल मतलब जुडिशरी से थोड़ा सा हटके, जुडिशियल इन सम सेंस, हाफ जुडिशियल कह लो इसको, बट नॉट इन एवरी सेंस. कोवरेंटो तो रेट होती है, हमें पता ही है. रेशियो डेसिडेंडी, प्रिंसिपल और रीजंस अंडरलाइंग अ डिसीजन, ठीक है. डेसिडेंडी मीन डिसीजन, रेशियो मतलब रैशनल बिहाइंड इट. रेस इप्सा लोकेटर, ये इंपॉर्टेंट है, काफी बार पूछा जाता है. थिंग्स स्पीक फॉर इटसेल्फ. लोकेटर, लोकेशियस इज समवन हु स्पीक्स अ लॉट, है ना. तो इप्सा मींस अपने आप, रेस मींस अ थिंग. रेस सब जुडिस मैटर्स पेंडिंग इन कोर्ट. जुडिस हमें पता है कोर्ट होता है, सब पेंडेंस या सब जुडिस इज पेंडिंग. ठीक है. सेकेंडम सब्जेक्टम मटीरियम अकॉर्डिंग टू द सब्जेक्ट मैटर. साइलस पॉपुली एस्ट सुप्रीम लेक्स, यानी कि वेलफेयर ऑफ द पीपल. पॉपुली से बना है, सुप्रीम लेक्स मतलब सुप्रीम लॉ. ठीक है. Testis is witness, testis corruptus is corrupt witness, testamentum is will, testimonium is in witness. यू पे आ गए हम. ओई जस्ट इबी इडम रेमेडियम, ये इंपॉर्टेंट है ये वाला, फर्स्ट और सेकंड. वेयर देयर इज अ राइट देयर इज अ रेमेडी. ठीक है. रेमेडियम से बना है रेमेडी, एंड आपका जस्ट से बना है राइट. ठीक है. जस्ट हमें पता है राइट होता है, जहां राइट है वहां रेमेडी है. उबी रेमेडियम उबी जस्ट, वेयर देयर इज अ रेमेडी देयर इज अ राइट. उल्टा कर दिया उसको. अल्टीमा वोलेंटिस द लास्ट विल, अल्टीमेट फाइनल. अल्ट्रा वायर्स ये बता दिया, बियॉन्ड द अथॉरिटी. बचे लास्ट के 10. वेडियम मोर्टुम अ डीड ऑफ मॉर्गेज. मोर्टुम से बना है मॉर्गेज. वेंडिकेशियो अक्लेम. वेरिटास हमें पता है ट्रूथ होता है. जस्टिशिया हमें पता है जस्टिस होता है. मैटर इज मदर. ठीक है. तो ट्रूथ इज द मदर ऑफ जस्टिस. वाइकेरियस लायबिलिटी हमें पता ही है. वाइस वर्सा हमें पता ही है. ऑर्डर बीइंग रिवर्स्ड. विस मेजॉर इज एक्ट ऑफ गॉड, ये इंपॉर्टेंट है, काफी बार पूछा जाता है. विज वी इज रिलेशनशिप विद रिस्पेक्ट टू द अदर. वॉलंटी नॉन फिट इंजूरिया, ये हमने पढ़ा ही है टॉर्ट में. डिफेंस दैट द प्लेंटिफ कैन नॉट क्लेम डैमेजेस. ठीक है. वॉलंटरीली आपने जो इंजरी सफर करी उसके लिए नो डैमेजेस. वॉलंटास टेस्टेटोरिस एम्बुलेटोरिया एस्ट एस्क एड मॉर्टम. विल ऑफ अ टेस्टेटर इज एम्बुलेटरी. एम्बुलेटरी मतलब चेंजेबल अंटिल हिज डेथ. ठीक है. ओके. योर वल्गैरिस ओपिनियन कॉमन ओपिनियन. तो वल्गैरिस मतलब ऑफ द मासेस ऑफ lot of people. So this brings us to the end of आपके लीगल मैक्सिम. इसके बियॉन्ड मुझे नहीं लगता आने चाहिए, काफी सारे हमने कर लिए. आई एम गेसिंग मोर देन 100 वी हैव डिस्कस्ड इन द क्लास. ठीक है. चलो. ऑलराइट, आर वी डन विद द लीगल मैक्सिम्स? 5 मिनट का जरा सांस लेते हैं. पिछले लास्ट हमने ब्रेक कब लिया था? 1 घंटा 20 मिनट हो गया. 5 मिनट का ब्रेक ले सकते हैं. What are the important sections we need to remember? सेक्शंस तो ज़्यादा नहीं याद करने की ज़रूरत है आपको. आर्टिकल्स ऑफ द कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन जो इंपॉर्टेंट वाले हैं वो ज़रूर याद होने चाहिए. फंडामेंटल राइट्स याद होने चाहिए. इंपॉर्टेंट डीपीएसपीज याद होने चाहिए. इंपॉर्टेंट आपके फंडामेंटल ड्यूटीज़ का आर्टिकल आपको पता होना चाहिए. उसके बाद बेसिक बेसिक वाले जो आर्टिकल्स होते हैं, बजट कौन से में है, प्रेसिडेंट की पावर्स कौन से में, इमरजेंसी वाले आर्टिकल्स कौन से हैं, वो सारी चीज़ें आपको पता होनी चाहिए. ठीक है. चलो. One is saying, do you listen to Eminem? I have listened a few old songs, not all of them. There's no way to get PYQs of SLAT, yeah. They do not release the papers. It's all memory based. थक गए. थोड़ा सा सांस ले लेते हैं 5 मिनट. उसके बाद थोड़े से क्वेश्चंस और सॉल्व करेंगे. बट आई होप यू गाइज अंडरस्टैंड हाउ टू सॉल्व मैक्सिम्स, राइट? अब वो जो 15-20 कीवर्ड्स है ना, उन्हीं के अराउंड सारा गेम है. वो जस हो गया, लेजिस हो गया, लीगम हो गया, यूबी हो गया, उनो हो गया, लेक्स हो गया, ये सारे ही हैं. बस इनके अराउंड ही बनते हैं सारे मैक्सिम्स. ट्रैवल क्वेश्चन. हाँ यार, आई लव ट्रैवलिंग. आई एम अ वेरी एविड ट्रैवलर एंड I've traveled to a lot of places in India. I've been to Ladakh, I've been to Himachal, most of the places in Himachal, most of the places in Uttarakhand, most of the places in Rajasthan. मैं सारे obviously touristy spots की बात कर रहा हूँ. I've been to some offbeat places as well. But हाँ, major attractions in these states. In Northeast, I've been to Sikkim. Rest of the Northeast, I'm yet to go. उसके अलावा यूपी में भी I have been to the major places, Lucknow, Agra, all of those. हरियाणा में तो I don't think there's a lot to explore from a traveler perspective. Delhi I have explored a lot because I stay in Delhi, have been to Delhi multiple times. उसके बाद नीचे MP में I have not explored much. So MP is left. Then going down south, Hyderabad used to be college. So Hyderabad I have explored. Kerala I have explored a little bit. Pondicherry I have been to. Goa I have been to. Have you gone abroad? I am going on the New Year. I am going on my first foreign trip New Year के टाइम, अपने पैसों से. लद्दाख बाइक से नहीं था. लद्दाख मैंने जाके बाइक ले ली थी. आई वेंट ऑन अ फ्लाइट एंड आई रेंटेड अ बाइक व्हेन आई लैंडेड इन लद्दाख. बट हाँ, वो भी करना है, बाइक से भी जाऊंगा मैं. दैट्स ऑन द कार्ड्स. Ashvika is saying, can you mark the important maxims in the doc? चलो क्लास के बाद मैं कर दूंगा. I'll do that for sure. Are you a bike guy or a car guy? I love both यार. It's hard to pick, but ठीक है. मतलब if I'm going for a solo ride, I'm definitely a bike guy. And if I am going with a group of friends, then definitely a car would make more sense. I enjoy both. I've been to long car road trips as well as long bike trips, but a slight bias towards bike trips because then you can absorb the scenery a little more. You can, enjoy the visuals a little more. आउट ऑफ इंडिया कहाँ, ये मैं अभी नहीं बता रहा. आई एम नॉट गोना जिंक्स इट. नॉट शेयरिंग दिस. आई डोंट शेयर माई ट्रैवल वाइल आई एम ट्रैवलिंग. मैं कोई इंस्टा पे स्टोरीज वगैरह भी नहीं डालता कि देखो मैं कहाँ घूम रहा हूँ, देखो मैं यहाँ आ गया, देखो मैंने क्या खाया. आई कीप माई ट्रैवल लिटिल डिस्क्रीट इन दैट सेंस. बट हाँ, सी आई सेइंग यू सीम लाइक अ बाइक गाय. आई एम अ बाइक गाय. कौन सी बाइक? आई हैव क्लासिक 350 एनफील्ड एंड आई ऑल्सो हैव एन बजाज एवेंजर 220 एंड आई विश टू बाय अनदर क्रूजर बाइक वेरी सून. सो या, अभी ज़्यादा कोई एक्सपेंसिव बाइक तो नहीं है मेरे पास. जस्ट स्टैंडर्ड बाइक्स. चलो ठीक है, 1 मिनट का ब्रेक और लेंगे. विल कम बैक टू क्वेश्चंस देन. While we are talking about destinations, which city or which country is your dream destination travel spot? लद्दाख में कौन सी ली थी? लद्दाख में एक दिन क्लासिक ली थी, लद्दाख में एक दिन हिमालयन ली थी, और एक दिन वो ली थी एनफील्ड की. एक और आती है, कौन सी आती है? थंडरबर्ड. सो तीनों दिन अलग अलग मैंने रॉयल एनफील्ड्स ली थी लद्दाख में. बट आई वुड लव टू नो योर ड्रीम डेस्टिनेशंस गाइस. आप लोगों को कहाँ घूमने जाने का मन है? इफ गिवन अनलिमिटेड टाइम एंड मनी, which is the first place where you would go? Give me the specific place. Himalayan review. Himalayan is a good bike, yeah. I enjoyed it. Himalayan is a good bike. अभी तो नया वेरिएंट भी आ गया उसका. स्विट्जरलैंड, नॉर्वे, इटली, ऑल वेरी ब्यूटीफुल कंट्रीज. यूरोप तो बहुत बड़ा है विमान. यूरोप, ऑफ कोर्स. Want to live in Italy at least by 40. Italy is very pretty, especially southern Italy. Most people just go to the touristy spots, but the suburbs are also very pretty. USA, California. Mm, nice. Entire Europe. Second visit. Intruder review. Intruder मैंने एक ही बार चलाई है and I found it nice. अच्छी थी. I enjoyed it. इतना ज़्यादा मैंने नहीं चलाई कि I can give a detailed review and comparison. Wish to go to New Zealand once. Yeah, New Zealand is so pretty. New Zealand is amazing. And for people who love adventure, people like me, it's a paradise. It's a adventurer's paradise. New Zealand and Australia. Japan. That's an interesting choice. What attracts you about Japan? Paris. Paris, I feel, is a little too commercialized these days. Does not have that rustic charm. It's very touristy, and I've heard that people in Paris are not very friendly either. A lot of pickpocketing, a lot of rude behavior. Not really heard a lot of good things about Paris, but ठीक है, it has its own charm. Swiss Alps, nice. Swiss Alps are lovely. Japan has good bikes. Yeah, they do. Paris is not what we expect. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. चलो ठीक है. Anyway, it's good to know that you guys have lovely dream destinations. Let's come back to our class. Let's practice a few more questions. Just 20 minutes remaining in the marathon, 20 odd minutes. Let's solve 7, 8 odd questions more, and then we'll call it a day. Okay, let me share the screen with you guys. Alright, तो गिफ्ट वाला क्वेश्चन तो हमने कर लिया. आई थिंक कर लिया ना. हाँ, कर लिया. ओके, सो विल डू क्वेश्चन नंबर. ये वाले हम कर चुके हैं, तो मैं देखता हूँ हमने कहाँ से नहीं किए. Okay, let's do यहाँ से 146. I think we have not done this. Let's do question 146 very quickly. Okay, most of you are saying it's gonna be option number B. Let's check. Nothing is an offense by reason of any harm it may cause to another person if it is done in good faith and for the benefit of that person, even without that person's consent. Okay. Huh. A is attacked by a lion and lion drags him while he's crying for help. B, a passerby picks up A's gun in good faith and fires at the lion, which injures A. B has never used the gun before. B is liable for the injury because he knew that he can injure A as he never used any gun before. No, good faith में गया. B is not liable as he has done the act in good faith. Yes. B is liable because he has not taken A's consent. No. It can be without that person's consent. Liable because he has used A's gun without his consent. No. Option number B would be the correct answer. Let's do question 147. Very simple. Uh, A, B, C were having a party in a bar where A persuaded B and C to take alcoholic drinks. On the persistent persuasion, B and C also consumed alcohol along with A. B and C had never consumed alcohol before. After intoxication, there was some argument between B and C where C pushed B with full force, causing serious injury to B. Seems like a scene from Boys Hostel. Anyway, C would definitely be liable because he was not intoxicated without his will or knowledge. He was intoxicated with his will. Persistent persuasion से कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. उसने अपनी मर्जी से he consumed alcohol. Therefore, he would be liable. He would not get this defense. So option number A. ठीक है? All right. Let's go to question 148. Okay, all of you are saying option D. Everyone has the right of private defense to defend his body and property by use of reasonable force, unless that person had time to have recourse to protection of public authorities. X received information at 5 p.m. that Y, along with few friends, is planning to burn his crop at midnight, which is ready to be harvested. He does not inform the village PS, which was just 1 kilometer away. He gathers his family members and directs them to collect some weapons in form of swords and lathis to protect his field crop. At around 11 p.m., Y and his aides attack the crop, and a severe fight ensues wherein Y is seriously injured. Huh, okay. X is not liable as he was exercising his private defense. No. X and his families are not liable because they were exercising the right of private defense. No. X is liable. X and his family is liable as they have not informed the police. Correct. They are liable because they have not informed the police. Simply option number D. Okay. All right. Let's do question 149. Okay, let's check this out. Anyone who induces or attempts to induce a voter to vote in a particular manner on the ground that the voter will face divine displeasure, okay, shall be guilty of offense of interfering with free exercise of right to vote. I don't know what is divine displeasure. During election campaign period, one candidate X told the voters that if they do not vote for her, voters will be cursed because the election candidate is the God's own child, and those who do not vote for her, they will not be liked by God. Oh God, क्या बात है? X has committed an offense. Okay, X has not committed an offense because she only narrated what she felt. No, she is inducing. X has not committed an offense because she has freedom of speech. Irrelevant. Not committed offense because she did not compel anyone. नहीं. Attempt तो किया देखो उसने induce करने का. So X has committed an offense. I don't know what sort of offense is this, but it is an offense as per the principle. Let's come to question number 150. Done. Done, 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 done. Everyone is saying option number C. Let's check. Doing an act which causes common injury, danger, or annoyance to public, or which is likely to cause such injury or annoyance, is public nuisance. A common nuisance is not excused because it causes some nuisance or advantage. Okay. A farmer having large farmlands burns crop residue stubble on his field after harvesting the crop to make the field ready for the next crop, as this is easy, fast, and convenient method of making the field ready. His farmlands are adjoining a densely inhabited residential area. People pass through the smoke while traveling adjoining his farmland. Smoke caused by fire also enters the houses in the colony. Public nuisance to hai. Not committed any offense since he does not cause any specific injury to any specific person. No. Not committed any offense because he does not gain any advantage. No. Has committed public nuisance. Yes. Has not committed any offense because the alleged acts are done on the fields owned by him and done without any intention. No. Option number C is the right answer. Let's do 151 very quickly. Option 151. Simple option number C. This is clear case of rash and negligent driving, and he would be guilty of that offense. No second thoughts about it. 152. Let's do this. समर्थ इज सेइंग असली पेपर में ऐसा नहीं आएगा भाई. दीज आर एक्चुअल पीवाईक्यूज ऑफ क्लैट, और स्लैट क्लैट से हमेशा इजी रहता है. सो आई मीन, आई अंडरस्टैंड योर पॉइंट दैट दीज आर वे टू सिंपल, बट it is what it is. I have not made these questions. These are actual PYQs. This was these questions are from CLAT 2019, which was one of the easier CLATs. This was the CLAT which I cracked to get into NALSA. So yeah, it had a lot of such easy questions. That is why the cutoff was very high. You had to get at least 161 out of 200 to get into NALSA. But ठीक है. This is option number B, very simple. Death by a rash and negligent act. Let's do question 153. That year there was no controversies. It was quite a smooth operation. But उससे पिछले साल there was a blunder. उसके अगले साल भी there was a blunder. But I got lucky that I wrote it in 2019. Another session at 6, so could you please leave us early? चलो ठीक है, दो questions और कर लेते हैं. Then I'll let you guys go. Option number A. So let's check. Killing is not murder if it is committed in a sudden fight without premeditation in a heat of passion upon a sudden quarrel. X and Y were buying liquor from a liquor store shop at 7 p.m. Y abused X and there was a quarrel between them. X told Y that he will not spare him, and Y shouted that his house is adjoining the shop only, and if X had the guts, he can come anytime. X went back to his shop, which was nearby, procured a knife, and went to Y's residence at 9 p.m. and stabbed him to death. Wow. Seems like a case from Noida. But ठीक है, this would definitely be murder. X has committed murder. X has not committed an offense since it was committed in sudden fight. नहीं भाई, 9 बजे घर जाके मारा तुमने. X has not committed murder because he had no enmity. Irrelevant. Not committed offense. No. This would simply be option number A. He has committed murder. Okay, let's do one last question and then I'll let you guys go. Question number 154, last question for the day. Samarth is saying go till 7. I mean, I don't mind, but I have another session to take at 8 p.m. So I would have to prepare for that. So 6 बजे तक ही रखते हैं. And many people have left the stream. So I'm guessing that people are tired and bored of doing the same type of questions again and again. So no point in torturing you guys. Chalo, some are saying A, some are saying D. Let's check this out. Use of criminal force intentionally, knowing that it would cause or is likely to cause injury or annoyance to the person against whom the force is used is an offense. X, a renowned social worker, had launched a movement for liberation of Muslim women's veil in public or in good faith without her consent causing annoyance to her. X is a renowned social worker and has committed no offense because his motive was good. Motive is irrelevant. X acted in good faith to liberate her from clutches of tradition and hence has committed no offense. No. X has done the act in public and not in secrecy, therefore had not committed any offense. No. X has committed no offense of use of criminal force. Absolutely correct. ऑप्शन नंबर डी. ठीक है, आज के ज़माने में तो इस टाइप के क्वेश्चंस फ्रेम भी नहीं कर सकता क्लाइंट. थिंग्स हैव गॉटन लिटिल हीटेड अप दीस डेज, बट एनीवे, दैट एंड्स द मैराथन फॉर टुडे. And thank you so much for participating. It was fun. We had a 3-hour session and all of you stayed till the last. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all tomorrow once again at 3 p.m. We'll be discussing questions of English and logical reasoning. I'll also try to incorporate a little bit of analytical reasoning. although that's not my area of expertise, but I'll still try that you guys get some exposure to that as well. And yeah, that's all for today. Till then, take care, keep learning, keep preparing. Don't get demotivated, whatever your outcome for CLAT and ALET have been. And yes, stay strong. I'll see you all tomorrow. SLAT बढ़िया जाएगा and life बढ़िया जाएगी. With that, we'll end the session. Thank you so much. Signing off.